broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Term is 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit. A bullshit.
Answer. Because
every election. So now, because
I could not be here breathing and be comfortable if I was really as bad as they was making it. You know, nobody could be around me. So for me to be this calm, I must have some kind of inner peace. And my inner peace is knowing that once everybody take the time to really see what type of person I am, you'd be surprised that I stuck around this long.
I have to make the life that I do live as happy as I can and try to do the best with what I have. You know, live the best life I can live, be as happy as I can be. Nothing is perfect for anybody. I don't know.
Boys, I swear, I think I figured it out. You know why they don't want us redneck brothers and sisters and the hood brothers and sisters getting along? You know why? Because we'd be unstoppable. I'm telling you right now, we would shut shit down.
Yes, yes, yes. I got my voice back just a little bit, okay? And we will shut shit down. So today, again, I'm not going to be on the screen. I had a long night and a long day, but God be the glory that I'm here. I want to say shout out to you guys that's here. Also, I want to say a shout out to Critical Smoker. He's been putting in that work. He's been going to these meetings back to back. So today he's supposed to be going to a hearing that involves Nate Felds. Okay. So I do want to make a correction. No, actually not a correction yet. A few weeks ago, we talked about Nate Felds being challenged. Okay. Also, we talked about Nate Felds, his petition being submitted early and basically the clerk trying to jam him up. That's why in the last live, I kept mentioning the clerk. So we're going to take a peek at who this clerk is that's kind of causing some issues. And then later broadcast, we're going to probably just talk about reasons why. Okay. So today, Nate is supposed to be having a hearing about his 3 challenges. So let me put this on the screen. If you are not following Nate and you're in, you support him or you're, basically following this subject, here is his page. This morning, he made a post about 47 minutes ago, petition hearing this morning, another chance for opposition to knock me off the ballot. So it's today at 10 a.m. at the main building. Pray for me. So I'm definitely praying for him. And then he states that it's going to be 3 oppositions. So that's what we're going to watch today. But before we watch that today, I do want to do a flashback. All right. Yesterday, while we were live at the Thornton special meeting, there was another meeting going on, another hearing that we're going to bring on the screen. Okay. So we're even Steven over here and we're going to show everyone. So this is a candidate that's running for mayor. I mentioned Miss Cassandra Jordan. She submitted her petition. She made a video, said that she submitted over 800 names and they wasn't challenged at that time. And I must have spoke too soon or right on time, because shortly after that, she was challenged. Okay. So the weird thing, and I'm just going to, throw that out there. The streets are talking. She submitted her paper a week before Thanksgiving, all of her petitions. And then she was made aware of this about almost a week after Thanksgiving. So this means that she's close to the deadline, and this was calculated and planned, and we're going to watch that. Okay, so we're going to watch that hearing that took place yesterday at 2:00. And before we do that, we're just going to do a flashback. Well, we're going to actually look at a news release by CBS Chicago. And this says, as Tiffany complains about being kept off the township ballot, opponents call her a hypocrite. So remember, when I talk, I don't talk from being on someone's side. I talk from, I feel like the most righteous side that I can. And right is right, is wrong is wrong. And we know that Tiffany is a big old hypocrite, okay? So here she go, crying wolf about how things were done wrong at the election. At the caucus. But then we turn around and you have to listen to the grounds that she actually, or not her, someone contests Cassandra on. Is like remarkably similar. So remember, I don't have sympathy for this woman. I have sympathy for her as a human being, as a Black woman. I don't like to see people hurt. I don't even care if I don't like them. So when I say I have sympathy, that's where I'm coming from. Do she deserve justice? Yes. Do she deserve everything she's getting? Yes. But just me being an empath and being empathetic, if I kind of put myself in her shoes, not all the bad stuff she did, but just there for that moment, it was really bad. Okay. But let's play this. Let's see what's going on with her.
Illegal. Napoleon, how you feel now that the people be heard?
Right.
Well, it's only Thursday, but Tiffany Henyard has had quite the week. Turmoil, yelling, and political maneuvering in both of her jobs. Tonight, some of her opponents are calling her a hypocrite. She's fighting to stay on one ballot while supporting her challengers getting thrown off another. CBS News Chicago's Jermont Terry is always investigating, and he's here now to break down exactly what's going on tonight.
Joe, there's a lot to unpack. Now, some are questioning if Henyard is crying foul for getting kicked off the township ballot, yet using the same very similar method to get her those running against her for the ballot in Dolton off the ballot.
So we have to get this village back on track.
That's Cassandra Hobson-Jordan, who's running to unseat Tiffany Henyard as Dolton's mayor. Hobson-Jordan and Denasha Harrison formed an independent party, but they hit a snag when someone filed this objection.
I mean, nice try, but yeah.
The petitioner is DeMarcus Grigley. He's an Henyard ally.
When you see her, you see him.
That's Grigley, an all-Black standing behind Henyard today as she addressed the outcome of this week's township, where she did not get the Democratic nomination.
He only nominated himself and his slate, which was wrong.
Yet that's the exact reason the petition wants the Dolton Electoral Board to get Hobson-Jordan and Harrison, who's running for trustee, off the ballot because they did not file a complete slate.
Very hypocritical, being that we just dealt with the situation with the caucus.
What was filed against us is not about the people's voice being heard.
But who can forget on Tuesday, Henyard pleaded to the caucus chair to let her people speak.
Napoleon, how you feel now let the people be heard?
If you felt that that wasn't right and you felt that that was illegal, then how is it that it's okay to do it to the village?
And she's really desperate. She sees that everything is falling apart, and at this point is let me do whatever I can to try to hold on with to any one of these positions.
I think it's about democracy and hypocrisy.
Their attorney points out the rules for township caucus and village municipalities are not the same. He references a 2017 federal court decision which sets the precedent a new party does not require a full slate in villages.
Again, this has been decided. It was decided 7 years ago that you can't enforce this anymore.
Yet these two candidates are forced to fight the Dolton Electoral Board to stay on the ballot.
No, I think it's just slimy.
Now, the two independent candidates have a hearing for December 16th with the Electoral Board. Their attorney is confident that their names will stay on the April ballots. But remember, Henyard and Trustee Jason House will square off first in the primary election in February of next year.
Never a dull moment.
Not in Dolton nor Thornton Township these days, Joe.
Jermont, thanks very much.
The average person.
Let's press pause. Okay, so we was updated on a lot of information. So y'all remember that Henyard and House is going to square off, and then what's going to happen after that is that person is going to square off with Cassandra if she's still on the ballot, in which I do believe she still will be on the ballot because we're going to watch what they're challenging. Okay, and like I told you, I'm more for honor because at the end of the day, the people of the system has to deal with this. Okay, we could put who we like. These people get paid. They do whatever, and then we suffer. So my main thing is for you guys to see the system for what it is and some of the flaws. Okay, so before we get into the full hearing, let's just listen to our hypocrite. We're going to listen to Tiffany Henyard's full interview because we didn't watch it yesterday. We jumped off. We're going to watch that full interview, and we're you know what I'm saying. We're going to do a little reaction. You guys are welcome to speak in the comments. You know, freedom of speech is welcome over here. A lot of times y'all be having me cracking up, and y'all inform everyone of what's going on. So definitely get into the chat this morning. I'm grateful for you guys being here. And we're also, again, waiting for Critical Smoker. Now, I say allegedly because I never talked to him, but I definitely believe and know that he should be down at this hearing with Nate Fields. So that's what we're going to be ending off watching, okay? So let's just watch this because we got about another 30 minutes. And I know it's early in the morning. Y'all brushing your teeth and everything, drinking y'all coffee. I'm grateful for you guys being here with me.
Just start with the caucus. So just so you know, this is strictly about the caucus. It's not about anything else. So if I decline to answer, I'm strictly talking about the caucus at this moment. And then y'all will get more interviews out of me. As long as y'all good to me, I'll be good to you. I have no issues. I just wanted people to say my side of the story and not just paint me as bad news because it's not the truth. And y'all been witnessing it yourselves at the caucus. So that's kind of what's going on and been going on. So I pray that you pay attention to other people's, I don't want to say drama, but situations.
Was it rigged? I mean, what happened Tuesday night?
Yes, it's election rigging at its finest. So we got there at about 4:30. Some got there right before 5. When we tried to enter into the building, they told us we cannot come in because they had a party going on at 5 o'clock. Residents from throughout Thornton Township showed up in drones. We had buses out there, cars, you know, it was super cold. And I ran into you outside and I was out there with them. They didn't even let me in. So when I did try to go in originally around 5, it told me they had a party and we cannot enter into the building. I asked, can you please let the residents inside the building? They said, no, they have a party. I said, but this is our residents. Let them in. They said, no, they did not register for the party. I felt that was so disheartening because at the end of the day, this is somebody's mom, auntie, cousin, uncle. You should let them in. It was cold outside, super cold. So I had a problem with that.
Was your name ever on the ballot? Did they ever actually, you know, say Tiffany Henyard and they vote on it or no?
No, no one had the opportunity to basically be a nominee. And that's where they messed up at. You're supposed to allow anybody that wants to run for office the opportunity to nominate themselves, let alone a slate, let alone anybody in the room can say, hey, I nominate myself for supervisor. I nominate myself for clerk. But they didn't give anybody the opportunity to do that. He only nominated himself and his slate, which was wrong. And I was fighting for my people to get in the building because it was cold outside.
How come nobody stood up to nominate you?
Well, we did. If you watch the tape, I nominated myself.
Is that what you were saying to Napoleon Harris before? We couldn't hear you.
I laughed, but she actually can nominate herself. I'm going to be honest. I did laugh like, but legally she can nominate herself. And also I just wanted to address the slate situation related to Cassandra. That is exactly what's in the actual caucus book. So independent don't need a full slate. It's literally in a caucus law book for the caucus. So it's a little weird. You see what's going on, but let's listen to the black pot right here. Let's just listen to it. You notice when she try to captivate people, sympathy, she do the like baby doll face makeup. I told you this makeup magic. Y'all gonna see the difference. Then sometimes it be looking fierce. So she do this thing, make her eyes look olive. I'm telling you, I'll be watching because I used to be a cosmetologist, so I understand the perception of makeup and the moods. This is how she had people feeling sympathetic for her. You see what I'm saying? The baby doll eyes. And then you're going to see the devil eyes in other clips. Okay? Let's just keep. I just had to highlight that. Y'all got to read the spirit. Read what's going on. So sometimes you see somebody and you be like, oh, I like her. And it's literally the makeup magic. Literally. Let's keep it going.
Yes. Somebody got it on tape. I saw the video. And also my team have it on the tape. If you want the footage, we'll give it to you. But he did not acknowledge anyone or anybody's demand. I was the only one that stood up to him. As you guys know, I am a fighter. Would not be bullied. I would not let people do voter suppression. That was the biggest voter suppression I've ever seen. And we talk about history, right? Every time we talk about history, we're talking about people that fought for the right to vote. But yet they didn't have the right to vote this time. Why? Why is that? Why mute the votes? Why mute the voices? Why mute the presidents? I have a problem with that because if he thought he was going to win, he would have let him in. But he didn't because it was my base that was outside because we couldn't get in. He said, and I quote, we are not letting anybody in until 6:30. 6:30 came, we were still outside. So when I finally got in, because people let me through the line, that's the only way I got in the building. Other than that, I would have been outside still with the people.
An attorney for Mr. Harris says you were not qualified because you didn't have a certified assessor on your ticket. What do you say to that?
That's not true. How would anybody know that if you didn't give me opportunity to make my nominations? People can't just assume what they think I have. I have to make the nominations on the floor before someone.
This is what I was trying to clarify. Did she submit paperwork? You know what I'm saying? Made a nomination, because that'll knock her out possibly for doing a write-in ballot, because that's what I read in the caucus book. So I was like, did she put in the paperwork that she can't? But at the end of this, you're going to hear she says she's still writing in. So she may have not gotten a chance to submit anything, allegedly. Let's keep listening.
Someone can say that I didn't have something. That's not true.
What's next? How do you fight it?
So we will be in court. This is a legal battle. Everybody has been calling us saying they're going to stand with Tiffany Henyard. I appreciate that. Even the naysayers said they're going to stand with me because people.
And let me just highlight this, because I'm just highlight this. If she did get a chance to hand in her paperwork honorably, and she didn't have that thing that the slate in, then the argument is justified. But if she did not get a chance to hand her paperwork in, the heist went down too fast. They ain't think about it yet. So I'm just going to throw that out there, because the heist went down a little bit too fast if y'all didn't get her paperwork, because it sounds like she's still going to write in the ballot.
People like righteousness. They don't like this wrong way of dictatorship for government. That is not how you take over things. It was a hostile takeover. And the media was all out there. Y'all saw it firsthand. No one should ever get the opportunity to sit there and be a dictator in a community where you govern everybody. And that's why I think
the black pot.
I think it was Channel 32, that he's a coward. He did not want to face me head up. He knew that I was going to dominate in that room. And that's why he did not allow my residents inside of the building.
What do you say to the allegations from Nikita Cloud that you tried to disrupt the event by mentioning yourself possibly a bomb threat, or the allegation that Mr. Price called and tried to cancel the event?
So people that's got all these false accusations, false statements, I am suing for defamation of character. I am suing because that is not true. Be able to back up what you report. And that's what I tell everybody. Everybody using my name and my face for views and clicks, but no one got facts. Everything y'all been doing has been smear campaign, and I have a problem with that. And that's why rarely I come out and I speak with you guys, because you don't want to fact check. That's one thing I love about Nate. Nate came and sat down with me. He fact checked. We give him the information, he go check it. He don't just run a story just because. And that's why I ask all y'all to do, at least be fair in the report, because people look up to.
I guess she talking about Nate the lawyer, and I'm gonna say shout out to him, because that's one of the things I'm gonna say. And I'm not saying this to be messy, but Vivian came out and said it, that the people in Dolton, and that is the elected officials, no name, were feeding the YouTubers information. That's why some YouTubers are big, some YouTubers are not. But with that goes to say, shout out to Nate, because he even sided, he like, all right, what you got, chick? So if she did submit any, the facts, definitely I would love for you to release them, because she kept talking about paperwork yesterday in the live, and I'm like, I want it. So if she says she's so open, I'm gonna email her this weekend as well. We're gonna see what we can get, because I ain't gonna hold no punches. I'm just gonna read everything. So I'm gonna definitely follow up as well, because she's saying email me. Y'all don't want my side. I want to hear everything. I'm gonna email her. Okay, y'all.
To your stations, you are news. Northwest, East, South, you are the news. But yet you guys are reporting off of drama. I don't like it. It's not a reality show, but y'all making it as that.
Do you know anything about tomorrow's meeting with Township Electoral Board trustees?
For here?
Right at 10 o'clock.
Yes, we have that at 10 a.m. I will be here. It's for those that file for a independent or a political party. So people challenge their whatever it is in there. They challenge them, and on that day they get the opportunity to be heard before the electoral.
Will you run for writing candidacy, or
I'll be on the ballot?
Are you a part of any of those challenges tomorrow?
She said, I'll be on the ballot. That's why that night I came back live and said, y'all, just be prepared that she might sue and she may can write in. And this is confirmed.
I am not.
Today you said the township's on the verge of closing because of insurance issues. Can you explain what that means and when that could happen?
Well, that's something exclusively for Channel 7. So that's why I told you before we stood here that it would strictly be about the caucus.
How do you feel about the decision to have a caucus as opposed to like a primary?
I think they took the right away for people. And that right being, every single time, we always had a primary in Thornton Township. When Frank Zuccarelli was the supervisor, he always had a primary, because over 10,000 people come out to vote in that election. And I felt that the people was stripped of that right. Whereas they created a caucus and now a handful of people get to come and pick township government. I just don't see how that's fair. But if that's the rules, we will follow the rules. But I still think that people should be able to go to the ballot and people should have ballot access. I just feel that way.
Why are you deciding not to talk about essential township services that are provided with the greater media group here today?
Y'all just saw me talk about that, and I talk every single time I have a special meeting. I literally sit here and talk about what's going on.
Be honest, she do right. He talking about them damn services, driving us the hell crazy, trying to sell a punchline, a 3-minute pitch that turned into 30. But yeah.
Every single time. And it's your job to now piece it all together. So when we say something, they say something, now you go fact check it. But no one does that. Y'all put 4 years in for everything else. Check out the information that's being put out, but no one's doing it. That's why I gave y'all the emails. I gave you the facts because they put information out and it's all false. It's not even true.
We'd like to be able to have the factual information about these services to show to our readers and our viewers.
And that's why we gave it to you guys. We gave you exactly that. We gave you the information. So if you have more questions, please, by all means, send an email. Keith Price is my point of contact. Y'all can reach out to him and he will definitely respond. He also have an interview with
Keith gonna be like, is you Grace? Yes. Keith, I'm coming.
Several of you guys, when I'm not here, he know what's going on. Any more questions about the caucus? No? Okay, go ahead. You got anything you want to say about your letter?
All right, I'm gonna stop right there and I'm gonna get to Javar, his comment. It said, hey Grace, did you check out Martin G's Johnson interview with Michael Smith and Keith Price? So what we're gonna do is, when I come back, because we got a lot to divulge. So what I like to do is let it be out there and marinate. We come back and talk about it. Let everybody talk about it. We come back and talk about it on another level. So when we're gonna review that and some other stuff that I want to review, and we're gonna talk about that. Okay. So let's get that off the screen. Thank you for bringing that to my attention. I did know about it, but I did not see the clip. Somebody mentioned it to me, but I didn't see the clip yet. So I will check it out. So now we got 15 minutes allegedly until the hearing starts with Mr. Nate Fells. If you don't know who he is running for supervisor out there in Thornton Township. And I don't know Nate Fells, but I do think he's a nice guy. He has a plan, or at least some type of idea of what he want to do. We show his website. We're going to re-upload that. The information that we have presented on him, and we're going to add some more because y'all remember I said I was going to do basically lives and information about each candidate. All right. So I'm definitely going to keep my word. But before we do that, what we're going to do is watch the hearing yesterday. It is a 12-minute clip brought to you by ABC 7. And the hearing yesterday was the hearing that took place with Miss Cassandra Jordan, where they actually contest to hers. And that's what I told you guys. I've been telling y'all to contest people. Ain't nobody contesting to Henyard. Nobody contesting to certain people. That's just my opinion, but it can be done. This is just letting y'all know that contesting the candidate can be done. It's real, and that's what we're seeing here in real time. Okay. So let me just get on the screen. We're gonna watch this 12-minute hearing, and then by that time we would pray that Critical Smoker is live and we can actually see Nate's Phil hearing. Okay. I want to give him as much support as possible because Nate Phil did put in that work. He put in that work. Okay. They jammed him up the first time. Just to remember, jammed him up the first time, made him have to get signatures again. He did it. And now they did 3 different challenges. Okay. And we're going to listen to what those 3 different challenges is. But let's listen to what was, their challenges against Miss Cassandra. And as you can see, this gentleman right here, the Marcus, I guess that's his name, he was standing in for Henyard because Henyard was somewhere else at 2:00. This took place 2:00 yesterday afternoon. And I'm like, how is the waterworks guy standing in for Henyard? What the hell is going on around in Illinois? Y'all just do anything and everything. People like, don't you belong at work? Don't you belong at work? But let's just play this. Let's continue to watch this weird soap opera. It's weird.
Oh, I guess so just for your case, you're doing your case in Denasha.
And I'm gonna speed up just a little bit.
He won't use. I mean, I can be here.
Thank you for being here with me this morning. It took a lot for me to do this. I'm gonna be honest. Last night was a long night for GRACELEVI. I was up in prayer. God woke me up 4 o'clock in the morning. And I'm going to talk to you guys about that. Y'all know I always got to bring God in my broadcast. Okay? Come on.
Cooking. You know, kids are grown. They just need a hug and a dog. It's nice.
I hope they talk louder.
Board meeting for Thornton Township.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, we get that trustee house.
Let me see. So I think she just figuring out that he's a replacement for Henyard. Oh,
It's actually the foreman, which is active supervisor.
did y'all hear that? Look, you heard what she said. She said, "So who doing your job?" Let's listen. You know, we pay attention to details. Whoop.
Superintendent.
You know, I got leaves that need to be picked up. Shouldn't have to.
Well, that's on Homewood Disclosure. You know, we don't pick up leaves, right? We do that as a courtesy.
Well, I'll let it get courtesy.
So you should call Homewood Disclosure.
No.
So what I see is here is that they know each other. Like, so one thing I think can be clarified and will be clarified more, because people say that this lady came out the woodwork. They like, we don't know her. Who the hell is she? She a Tiffany plant. Now, obviously not a Tiffany plant if you have Tiffany people who you just saw in the last live literally sitting right there in Tiffany place to represent Tiffany against her. Okay, let's just watch this. So I'm digging in and I'm watching the dynamics of the people. Okay. I'm fast forwarding, y'all. Okay, so I guess they're trying to get House on the phone.
All right, Trustee House, you there? Okay. Here. Good. All right. All right, so we can call the next matter to order. This is 24 PFO-07. Great. This is National Harrison. Harrison's here. Paul. And Becker's here also. We have Trustee House by phone. Clerk present. Here. Okay. And here add another hearing, another location. So I will call this hearing to order. Call roll. What's going on?
You are speaking now. Okay.
Okay, we have a quorum. The chairperson for this electoral board hearing will be Mayor Henyard. State she's not here. She has another hearing. But Jeffers made this another candidate, so we should try and go along with the same time frame. At this time, I would look for a motion to approve the rules of the electoral board.
Second.
Roll, please.
Trustee House.
Right. The rules have been adopted. Council, you have a copy of the rules, the same. I think you've done it on the same paper. Those rules. And said motion that your phone.
Yeah, I'm sorry. My attorney, Max Solomon, is on the phone. He's on speaker.
Council, can you just identify yourself?
Good afternoon. I'm not sure who I'm talking with, but good afternoon, board, council. My name is Max Solomon, Solomon. I represent the objector, Marcus Quigley.
Okay. So Solomon, Michael Brath. I'm here with the Trustee House present by phone. They couldn't make it in person today, and Mayor Henyard has another meeting or hearing that just got established, so she couldn't make it here. We've adopted the rules.
file your appearance? I think you're going to seek leave to file your appearance on this matter?
Yes, I'm seeking leave to file my appearance on this matter today.
Okay. You have my email. If you could please file that. I will circulate it to council, the other board members.
Alright.
And you have made an objection, council. Yes, I'll file my motion to strike and dismiss by tomorrow, Friday at 5 o'clock. A response by Monday at 5 o'clock, and then a reply, if any, by Tuesday at 5 o'clock.
Is that Ross Seckler?
No, this is Perry Abbasi.
Oh, okay, sorry. He sounds like Ross. Okay.
I take it as a compliment. Ross is
No, you don't know him. No, y'all not friends. Y'all not about to do no deals on the side. Y'all hear what goes on? These people know each other. We're going to hear some of the things they were saying. And that's Max Solomon. This is just a circle. It is more people who need jobs. It does not need to have these same people on all these cases and all these positions. I just don't agree. I just don't agree.
Very smart young man.
All right. The hearing schedule, the briefing schedule sounds like you were going to file your motion to strike and dismiss when?
By tomorrow at 5.
All right. Council, may I have till Monday to respond?
Yes, we set it up to the exact same timeline for previous hearing. 5 o'clock on Monday for response, and then Tuesday at 5 o'clock for a reply.
Sounds good.
All right. And then, based on your schedule, we were hoping to see this matter to follow the previous matter on the following Monday, the 16th, shortly after 1 p.m.
Monday 16th. Let me check my calendar really quickly.
Check this out.
All right, we're going to stop right there. I'm going to leave this because that thing just bust on so loud. Critical Smoker is starting his live. God bless him for being down there because y'all know we're very interested in this. Also, I see the Lansing that's back there. We're going to put them on the screen, but we are going to talk through some things that we just saw and heard, okay? If you didn't understand, basically, they're going to be following up December 16th to continue the hearing. What I want to verify is what rules were adopted. I'm assuming, and I'm going to correct myself if I'm wrong. It sounds like they adopt the rules about the slate. Needing the slate, okay, and that's the same thing that seemed to have happened at the caucus, okay. And what's so weird, if y'all did not pay attention, the chairman of the election board of Dolton is Tiffany Henyard. So exactly what I said I was not comfortable with that happened in Georgia with Kemp when he was going against the other black lady, and he was over the election board and things was funny. This is what's happening continuously. So Henyard, the bird, let's put it on the screen. I'm never saying feel sympathy for Henyard. I'm going to tell you that because she's doing exactly what was done to her. I can't even believe how this vicious cycle is just continuing. Okay. It is appalling and disgusting to me. I'm just being real. So I'm trying to clarify you got to the audience or to my audience kind of what's going on and clear up the picture because sometimes the water get muddy because people have their objective. People have their, feelings of how it should be, the way you should feel and how. No, I'm not telling you how you should feel, nothing. Let's just put the facts out there. Who is what is going on, because this has captivated the nation. Well, not the nation, but it captivated a lot of United States. And a lot of us have our heart in this for Dolton and Thornton residents. Like, we don't all just look at it as the mess. Okay. Let me listen to this and see where they're at. And then I'm going to continue my commentary. Hold on one second. Let's just listen. Shout out to Critical Smoker. He's doing his thing. I appreciate him going to these meetings. I know, and it's so amazing. Like I told you guys, this is stuff that wasn't normal. This is stuff that we was not into. So for us to get into this, and it's sad that it has to be a tragedy, but we're into this, and now we're going to pay attention to our community, see how these boards are run, see the structure of government, start to participate. I know, open your eyes to y'all stuff as well. But what I will say that is a lot of us that truly care about Dolton and Thornton residents, because we have lived in these areas like this. We have seen these things unravel, as though myself, I have seen these things unravel. You see what I'm saying? So living in, like I said, Newark, seeing it get almost gentrified by the mayor, him selling the properties out for $1, $2 to his friends, and us being pushed out. So that's what I think I see happening in Dolton, but there's a lot of players that plays a part in this. And I really think that we have to expand our horizons, because it's not just Tiffany. These people know each other. There is, as mentioned yesterday, and mentioned several times by many others, Chicago is very corrupt. So sad, but true. And that is nothing that we need to take lightly. That is nothing that we need to play around with. Like, that's just the way it is. You gotta have tough skin, No, not the fuck. We need to fix it, because we're suffering. Literally, the income gap between the middle class and these fake rich boule elites, and I'm talking about the black ones, has soared just as well as it soared with Bezos, with Gates, with Elon. Okay. Tiffany made millions of dollars. Okay. These people have agendas. So I would say to you guys, really pay attention to your system, because the people are going to suffer. If you get another tyrant mayor or supervisor in there that shucked and jived, you really didn't get to know them, you really didn't vote based on policies but sensationalism, you're going to suffer 10 times worse than what you're suffering with Tiffany. I'm being honest, because, and I'm going to say this, God is going to make it get worse for you guys if you don't open your eyes. This is for the residents. This is for the residents. And y'all know I got to do it. Hopefully this starts, but maybe he want me to tell y'all the reason, my little night. But I woke up at 4:00 in the morning, literally, and I'm like, God. And he said, Jonah. I said, Jonah? Why I'm going to read that Jonah about the guy in the well? What is that? That's the only thing you think about when you hear that story. But when you listen to the story of Jonah, you read it, you realize that Jonah had a message for Nineveh. I'm saying the place wrong, Nineveh. And the message was that they were going to be destroyed because they did not know better, though. This is their normal. This is what they were bred into. But that Nineveh, I'm saying the name wrong, was a land of like they worship gods of war. Okay. And Jonah was a Hebrew, and they respected our Hebrew God at that point. So Jonah went there after all the well stuff. The most important stuff was at the end. And he sat there and walked there for 30 days telling them to repent. You're making wrong decisions. You're being led to hell because you're worshiping gods of war. Does this sound familiar? Maybe I'll just be in my spiritual too much. But I was so taken back. I was in tears because I pray for Thornton and Dolton. I'm going to say this. I talk about the Bible, then I drop a curse. Fuck those public officials if they don't care about you. It is what it is. You're not going to see my tone change. You're not going to see me talk out of two sides of my mouth. I've been pretty even. So that's my word to Dolton and Thornton residents and anyone who's kind of in a situation like this. You guys help create this too. The behaviors, the gossiping, the bite backing. You have stunted your growth by not paying attention to everything, learning. You got to learn new skills. A lot of you did. Y'all put the pedal to the metal. But most people sat back and talked. And I had to repent last night and say, yo, I was part of the mess too, talking about some people, talking about things, And I understand we got to keep our commentary funny and intriguing. And that's kind of the reason why too. But I ask God to forgive me if it was anything that downgraded people or that, and put them in a realm that you didn't want them to be in, forgive me. Just guide me on this journey to continue to do whatever you want me to do, because I was really like, yo, the more I find out about what's going on there, because it just keep on getting bigger and bigger, the more I'm like, hell to the no, to the no. I don't have nothing to do with it, because it's like a lot of this is of the devil. Like literally, like you said, you're going into people who will set you up to get murdered. And I'm not saying the trustees in them, but that's how they get down out there. That's why when I was going to the Alexis Butterfly release, I didn't tell nobody. The Spirit told me not to the last minute. But then because it was saying, you don't get set up. Sad, but true. This is serious and this is real life. So don't only watch it for entertainment. I do ask for Levi family because you guys is a different vibe like me. And I think we got some prayer warriors in there. Y'all really need to pray for these people. Pray for them. We still waiting. Pray for their mind. Pray for their situation. Pray they don't get priced out their homes. Pray that they, take positions that they need to help their community, that they stop being dependent on the government services. And if they're going to be, they need to take control of the way the system is set up. I'm a systems person. So I see so many flaws with this system, the way they approach things and do things. And you guys have to be the one. You guys have to do that. So look at Tiff looking like Beetlejuice. She got a Beetlejuice dress. Look, y'all know I be getting serious, then I just flip right over. Like, look at Beetlejuice right over there down there. There she go. So this is the hearing for Nate Feltz. Let's put him on the screen. He is running for supervisor in Thornton. This man worked hard for it. Praying for him too. And we're gonna watch this. And again, I gotta send a shout out to Critical Smoker because you're literally doing your thing. It's just because you go down there, you there for the people. Well, I assume because you are, and then you let us use your stream. Like I'm telling you, these YouTube streets is nasty. They don't want nobody want to share. Everybody in competition, and that's why I give respect to where respect due. So just understand, I give sometimes you got to give respect total to the person because they just deserve it, or sometimes you got to give it based on situations. So pay attention, y'all. So just know I still roll dolo, and I love everybody because God told me I have to. Because I couldn't be like Nineveh. If y'all knew, y'all couldn't be like Jonah. Y'all know Jonah was mad when God saved Nineveh. And that's what was my last thing I had to realize because I had to step back and say, fucking, I was saying, let these people burn. The wicked people who leading the people wrong, everything. Just, you're going to get what you get. Burn. God's going to burn you. But when I listen, God like, no, these people don't know no better. I want them saved too. I want them all. I had to fall back. Because I do think a lot of these people all need to burn and repent. Even some of the content creators. Yeah. But I pray for the best for all these people. And that they get exactly what they dished out. Look, he was like, God, like, did you learn? I'm trying, God. I'm trying. That's the last part of Jonah that I was really like, listen, you said recompense. So I'm still fighting with that. I don't wish death on nobody, but I do pray that everybody get what they deserve. For real, for real. You know what I'm saying? Look at this bucket head. Oh, and when we watch the rest of the interview with Tiffany, y'all gonna see this man, this picture is not an altered picture. Listen, let me show you the picture I got. I really thought Catch a Dog Smith, aka Cole, did not look like this. I thought that somebody just put this there as a play, like they altered it. Do you know this is how this man look? Oh, that's why he like the little kids, because ain't no grown woman gonna like that right there. Oh my God. I just got an update. Disgusting. All right. I think we still waiting. Okay, so y'all remember we did this. Back. Oh, fuck. So disgusting. All right. So we're gonna. All right. Y'all remember where we did that live about the case that was with the Park District, and it involved Andrew Holmes and basically his position, and he was trying to force Delgado into being a lawyer for the Park District. If y'all remember that lawsuit, right? So Andrew Holmes still has his position at the Park District, And I'm thinking that meeting, and we're gonna watch it. I can't watch. I hopefully can watch it today, or maybe tomorrow. Together, they voted Delgado in as the lawyer. Hold up, I pray I'm wrong, because this is y'all ain't got no other lawyers out there. Y'all ain't got no other lawyers out there. This is what I'm talking about. I don't like this. I don't like this type of stuff. It doesn't make any sense. And Darlene Gray was voted in. Everett. That lady who was sitting there with the COVID mask, she got voted back into the daggone school board. Hold on 1 second. This is ridiculous. It is the school board I'm talking about is Thornton Township, to be Pacific. Shut up. Okay. So Andrew Holmes has his seat until 2029. Okay. I'm not even going to get into it. Let's see. You hear anything? Did they start? I hope you move your camera, Critical Smoker, because I want to see. I want to see Nate.
Good morning, everyone.
There we go.
Thank you for coming. We're going to call Thornton Township Officers Electoral Board for the Cook County, State of Illinois to order. I will now, this is Friday, December 6th. Time is 10:14, and I will get over to our attorney.
Thank you. At this time, we will be doing a roll call. The members of this electoral board do include Trustee Chris Gonzalez, Trustee Darlene Gray Everett, and Clerk Loretta Wells. Trustee Gonzalez is on the phone. Trustee Gonzalez, are you here, present? Okay. Member Darlene Gray Everett? And Member Wells? Okay, we do have all members present and accounted for, and at this time, because Trustee Gonzalez is away for work, we do need a motion to allow him to attend electronically.
I make a motion to allow Trustee Gonzalez to participate via phone.
Okay.
Second on the motion, then? We've got a motion by Clerk Wells and a second by Darlene Gray Everett. Okay. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. At this time, we also need to approve the electoral board rules. Copies of the rules were presented to all parties, and copies of the rules are available at that table. So I do need a motion to approve the electoral board rules.
I make a motion to approve the electoral board rules.
Can we do a second? Second by Member Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries.
What's the rules? Again, we don't know.
We do have a member that's attending via phone, so we're trying to. Okay. Speak, just so that the court reporter can hear, so we can have an accurate transcript. Thank you very much. Okay, so now we are going to start calling the supervisor cases, and we do have 9 cases that we need to go through. I do ask if okay, we do have some appearance forms up here. And if we need to get more copies, we will.
Nine cases. And none of them against Henyard. Well, she didn't get in on this one. Y'all better contest with him. You put her paperwork in.
Yes, sir. Yes, that's fine. Yes, I have no problem with that. I do ask though, just so that if there's parties that are coming up.
I'm gonna change that name to Election Chaos.
Everybody needs a mic to speak through so the court reporter can hear you.
Hello? Okay, testing. So we're gonna call the cases in order. The first case up is 25 TOEB Supervisor 01. And that is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Chris Clark. Is the objector here? Are the objectors here? Okay, thank you. And is anybody here for the candidate Chris Clark?
Yes, on behalf of Chris Clark, Attorney Kevin Stern from Mansell Link, if I could have leave to file my appearance.
Thank you. I do ask both parties to file their appearances with the board once they're done completing them and to exchange appearances.
Chris Clark is the mayor of Harvey. That's coming to tear shit up, y'all. Let's listen.
With each other. Now, at this point, we do have to, before we get into the case, we are going to go through some preliminary matters and adopt some exhibits. The first exhibit, and these will be the same in all cases, but we have to do this with each case. First exhibit will be the nomination papers submitted by the candidate. That's exhibit A. Exhibit B is going to be the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D are the rules. And
Let me just pause real quick. I want you guys to pay attention that the rules for the election was just adopted today. Just like what we saw, the rules for Dolton election was adopted yesterday. And the chairman makes those up, okay? So, yeah, let's just know those details.
exhibit E will be the agenda. Just one moment. And exhibit F will be any waivers of service that were filed in this matter. I do believe we have a waiver of service from the objectors. Okay, and candidates, you guys also submitted a waiver of service to Attorney Carrie Lynn Crafthopper. So those will be exhibit F. Okay, objector, could you please tell us a little bit about this objection?
Basically, we are objecting to the fact that Mr. Christopher Clark filed as a slate and did not file a full slate that is required according to state statute. He was missing a clerk, highway commissioner, and assessor.
Okay, thank you for that summary. And Mr. Stern, do you intend to file any sort of motions on this matter?
Yes, we intend on filing dispositive motions. We also will have a motion to consolidate with the objectors. They've objected to everybody that's pretty much on Mayor Clark's slate. So we're going to file a motion to consolidate. But I understand that the board is comprised, it's going to be comprised of 2 different members. So maybe we'll just consolidate the trustees' cases and leave Mayor Clark's case separate.
Okay, when we get to that point, we can discuss that. But if the parties have no objection, if we do have all members of both electoral boards here at the same time at the next hearing, we could potentially consolidate it for purposes of oral argument so that the parties don't have to escape the oral argument. Just again, twice. Objectors, you have something that you want to say?
Yes, as to consolidating all the cases, I do not believe that he has one trustee that has a different allegation against her, Corinne Davis. I don't think that should be consolidated because it's a whole separate issue involved with that particular challenge.
If I can make a recommendation, we could consolidate them all for the purposes of the argument of the full slate item. And then as it relates to the additional objection on Ms. Corinne Davis, which I believe is related to incompatible offices, we could have you guys argue that one separate. And this would just be for the case of judicial economy to keep these hearings moving and not have you guys have to do duplicative arguments. So, sure, understood, completely understood. So we will make note of that, and if we're able to get both boards here at the same time for the next meeting, then we will go ahead and have all 4 board members sitting up here hearing the oral argument as it relates to the full slate requirement, unless there's an objection from the parties.
Sounds good.
Okay, thank you. How much time do you need, Mr. Stirk, to file your motion?
If we could have till, could we have till Monday?
Yes, and just so the board knows, we will probably not be able to come back until the 7th, or sorry, just so the objector and, or objectors and the candidates council know, we will not be coming back probably until the 17th. So if that, you know, you can take that into consideration in your briefing schedule. So if the parties need a little bit more time, we will be back here until the 17th.
Sure, Monday will be fine for us.
Okay, so your brief will be due Monday, Monday, December 9th. And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, how much time would you like for a response? Okay, so you'd like your response, just for clarification, let's have Monday, December 9th at, is 5 p.m. good for the motion? Okay. And then the response would be due on 12/11, Wednesday, 12/11, also at 5 p.m. And Mr. Stirk, how much time would you like leave for a reply? Is 24 hours okay for a reply?
24 hours is great.
Okay, great. Okay, so the reply will be due 12/12. And then we will come back here on the 17th. Let's do 10:30 if that is okay with the board. Or actually, let's do 10 a.m. It's going to be a long day. We're going to have a lot of argument. So the briefing schedule is going to be the motion to strike and dismiss is due on 12/9. The response is due on 12/11. The reply is due on 12/12. And I was suggesting that we come back for a hearing on the motion to strike and dismiss on 12/17 at 10 a.m. If that works for the board.
Is there any way we could do it on 12/18?
My concern is that we're pushing, you know, we're already kind of far out.
Sure. We'll make 12/17 work.
Yeah, you better.
12/17 work for the board?
See, that last
Gonzalez, does 12/17 work for you?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we will continue this matter to 12/17 at 10 a.m. And that works for the parties, right? I know Mr. Stark, you said you'll figure it out. You guys will get somebody from the firm to come. And Mr. Price and Mr. Smith, that works for you as well, correct? Okay. Okay, so this matter is continued until 12/17 a.m. I'm sorry, 12/17 at 10 a.m.
Come on, you got 8 more.
There's nothing further to occur on this case, so we're now going to call the next case.
If y'all miss anything, don't worry. I took notes and I'm going to rehash it for you guys so you can understand what just happened, okay?
So the next case is Nathaniel Fields.
There we go.
Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields.
Hey, shit. They better leave that young man alone.
Good morning, thank you.
What they challenge him on? Leave that young black man alone.
We have to go through the exhibits once again and just enter the exhibits into the record. Actually, I'm sorry, can we move back really quick? Just do a quick motion to approve the exhibits for the 25 TOEB Soup 01.
Motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I have a second? All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, now we're going to move on to case number 25 TOEB Soup 02. And again, this is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Nathaniel Fields. Are the objectors present?
Present.
Okay, and is the candidate present?
Present.
Thank you all. And have the parties completed appearances? Okay. Mr. Fields, have you completed an appearance yet? We do have some extras. We're going to step up and grab one. These were all included also in the objection packet that I believe was sent out. But we have extras, so if you can't find it, that's fine.
Where your lawyer at, Nate?
Mr. Fields, you want to just come grab one from over here? Oh, you do? Okay. Okay, actually, so you're gonna need two, because you guys got exchange appearances. So if you want to grab another one, so that you can complete it, so you can give it to the other side, and then we'll need one for our records. Thank you. And for anybody else that's sitting in the crowd, just so you know that you do have to file an appearance for every case. Your appearance has to have your email address, because we serve everybody via email. These are highly expedited proceedings. Can't wait for mail to actually get there. Okay. All right, so objectors, if you could give us the nature of the objection.
The objection in relation to Mr. Fields deals with the failure to identify office sought on a statement of interest. Furthermore, Mr. Fields ran turned in petitions as a Democrat for a primary, then filed as an independent. And I have some issues with petitions not being bound properly, and also statement of candidacy, statement of political party affiliation being absent. So that's basically a breakdown of the objections.
Okay, my notes actually reflect that there, and maybe my notes are incorrect, but was there also an objection that the statement of economic interest receipt was not filed?
Correctly, yes.
That it wasn't filed correctly, or that it wasn't filed?
It wasn't filed.
Okay. Let me just grab it.
Yeah.
With the proper authorities.
Yeah. That's supposed to be filed. I'm gonna just double check, but I remember seeing that. Some of the things they have to do afterwards. You need a lawyer. For real.
Okay, so I understand the nature of the objections. Mr. Fields, will you be filing any sort of dispositive motions? Any more motion to strike and dismiss or anything?
At the moment, no, I'd like to respond at the guys that make the determination.
So today is going to be very preliminary. The board's not going to be making any decisions today.
Oh, okay.
So that's why, so if you want time to file a motion to strike and dismiss, for instance, if you dispute what they're saying.
I do.
Then you can do it in writing, and you would still have the opportunity to argue it orally on the 17th.
Okay, on the 17th. Okay, then I do dispute what they're saying, and I would like to argue.
Okay, would you like to also file a motion to strike and dismiss, or would you like leave to file it, and if you choose not to file it, then that's fine, you don't have to file it. If you want to file a motion to strike and dismiss, I can give you the same briefing schedule that we just entered in.
Now you just said leave. Repeat that the second half.
My baby don't know what he's supposed to do. Oh my God, this is painful, y'all. We're going to explain to you what's going on. My baby confused.
So basically what I'm saying is that you're allowed to file a motion to strike and dismiss if you want.
Right, now
So-
strike and dismiss means dismiss their objection.
Yes.
Correct.
Right.
Right, so
Okay.
the way that this generally works
Court.
is the case gets called, and if a party disputes what is being said in the objector's petition,
Mhm.
then the party has the opportunity to file some sort of motion to say the objector's wrong.
Phew.
And so that would be your opportunity to file a motion, and typically called a motion to strike or a motion to dismiss, or sometimes a motion to strike and dismiss.
Okay, well, I like to file a motion to strike and dismiss, and I appreciate the,
Education.
You're welcome.
Yes.
Um,
Thank you, because she did not have to do that. They will not do that for us. So thank God this lady is not biased. And look at big old forehead over there, Sydney. We're gonna talk about him. Oh, he's supposed to be running for supervisor allegedly. Let's finish listening to this. Thank God this chairperson, if that's her, is being wholesome to my man. We're gonna talk about it.
So the motion to strike and dismiss would then be due on December 9th at 5 p.m.
Same timeline.
A response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And just, since everyone's pro se, Mr. Fields, you would be filing the motion to strike and dismiss. Your pleading would be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The other side's response would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And then if you choose to file a reply, which that's typically how it works. The movement gets the last word. The person that's making the motion generally gets the last word. So if you left out your last word in the form of a reply, you can file that on 12/12 by 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on 12/17 for a hearing. I'm just going to set them all at 10 a.m. because I don't know how long the hearings are all going to take. So I just encourage all the parties to be here at 10 a.m.
My baby. Cute. Told y'all got to pray for him.
Okay, we need to mark the exhibits really quick before we move this case along. The exhibits for this case, just like the other case, will be Exhibit A, the nomination papers, Exhibit B, the objector's petitions, Exhibit C, the call, Exhibit D, the rules, Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waivers of service. And I believe, Mr. Fields, you sent in a waiver of service to the clerk? Oh, and Mr. Price and Smith, you guys both sent in waivers of service, correct? Thank you. Okay, there being nothing further with this case, we can move on to the next case. Oh, I'm sorry, yes, I apologize. A motion to approve the exhibits? Okay, so we have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member Darlene Gray Everett to approve the exhibits as stated. All in favor? Aye.
Just as y'all listen, thank you for saying that, but they don't want my help. So what I'm gonna do, he don't want my help. It's too much political stuff there. If Nate Fields talks to me, they're gonna block him out. So I really just got love for him on the side, and I pray for him. I understand what Nate had to do to try to, but I think he needs to really get help. I pray for him. I wish I can help him, but we're gonna talk about it. This young man. He trying.
Motion carries. All right, calling the next case, which is Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Tiffany Moore.
They challenge everybody.
Good morning, Honorable Electoral Board, Honorable Board members and attorneys. My name is Jacob Avila-Volokovsky, appearing on behalf of Attorney Frank Avila for candidate Sydney Moore.
See?
And just for the record,
And I know, Sydney, no disrespect, I'm gonna identify you by your forehead. So that's the guy with the forehead and the dreads that we talked about. We'll be releasing these videos of the what we talked about prior this weekend, so y'all could get a flashback.
real quick, actually, objectors, can you see your name real quick?
Oh, my baby, he tried. You did good, Nate.
Keith Price.
Thank you. And just for the record, Mr. Avila is not an attorney. He is appearing on behalf of his father, who is in the hospital at the time. So he just asked if I could, Mr. Avila contacted me last night via email and asked for time to file a brief. So his son is here just to, I guess, make sure that happens. He's not here in a per se representative capacity. He's just here on behalf of his dad to make sure that the process goes through. So do the parties have any objection to the briefing schedule that was set in the other cases?
I do not have a objection to the briefing schedule. Although I do have an objection if Mr. Avila is not an attorney, he should not be allowed to.
See, look.
Regardless of the circumstances, under normal situations.
That's fair. We do have the candidate here. Could the candidate come sit at the table, please?
Oh my God. Oh, see, I told you Keith ain't stupid. So basically, Sidney tried to have his son stand in for him to speak. I don't know if he's a better speaker, good representation, but Keith like, nah, he got to come up here because he's not a lawyer. So you can't have someone who's not out of that capacity represent you. He ain't no fool. They not. Tiffany has sent the watchdogs on everybody. They contested everybody. I thought this was just going to be Nate Phelps. Why wouldn't he sit up there?
Okay, Mr. Moore? Yes. Okay, thank you. So at this time, Mr. Moore, I understand that your attorney is in the hospital and he has requested a briefing schedule. So do the parties agree that to the briefing schedule that we set in the other cases where the briefs would be due on December 9th for a motion to strike and dismiss, response due on December 11th, and reply on December 12th, all at 5 p.m.? Okay, so we go ahead and set that briefing schedule. We will be back here again on December 17th at 10 a.m. And we will now go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record.
Yeah, what's that?
Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, agenda. And Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Mr. Moore, do you know if your attorney, Mr. Avila, do you know whether he sent in a waiver of service? Okay, if you could speak, or son, if you could please send me a waiver of service when he has a moment, we can add that to the file. But you in fact were served, Mr. Moore, correct?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we do have service and the party is present. That's the purpose, is just to make sure that everyone's here. All right, so we need a motion to approve the exhibits.
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Second.
We have a motion by member Loretta Wells and a second by member and chair Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Okay, motion carries. So this matter will be continued until December 17th at 10 a.m.
Thank you.
What's the objections? Why didn't he talk about what was the objections? His petition was one.
Oh, I'm sorry, you're correct. Oh, yes, not having the attorney here, but Mr. Price, could you please very quickly state the nature of your objection?
See, I was like, what's the objection?
In the case with Mr. Moore, we have multiple filings of nomination papers, which is prohibited. We have circulation restrictions that were violated, dealing with a circulator may not circulate petitions for an established party and an independent or new party candidate. That can be found in 10 ILCS 5/10-4. We also have attachments, I believe in Mr. Moore's case, of 160 pages where he was the circulator. And that's basically a breakdown of everything that the objections cover.
Thank you for that summary. Okay, there being nothing further as it relates to this objection, we will continue this, or I'm sorry, Mr. Moore,
excuse
do
me.
you want to make a statement?
Yeah, I just want to say that the attorney is asking, can he change the time of the appearance on the 17th, a little later that afternoon? Instead of 10 o'clock, a little later than that?
Like what time are we can push it towards the end of the supervisor call. But we got to keep these cases moving. So what we could do is The first case is gonna be called at 10 a.m. There's gonna be argument on that first case. So you've got 3 cases already before this case, or 2 cases already before this case. So what we could do is we could push this to the end of the supervisor call. So it'll come after, but I can't give an exact time. I would say probably maybe 11:30. But we're gonna set it for 10 a.m. Just have Mr. Avila communicate with me what time he's gonna be here, and
He needed.
to work. But I do want to keep the supervisor cases grouped together,
Yeah,
and then the trustee cases grouped together, with the caveat, of course, that we do have a motion to consolidate on some other cases that are going to have some cases to all be argued.
Sounds good.
To be argued together.
Well, thank you.
Okay.
I want to say thank you again for joining us. Thank you for.
Okay, the next case we are calling is DeMarcus Crigley versus Stafford Owens.
She sent all her goons out. Wow.
Good morning, Honorable Board.
Good morning, thank you.
She switched it up to let them do it, so it won't look like Keith Price and Catch a Dog Smith was excessive with their objections. Yo, she's a monster. Never feel sorry for this woman. Let me put her on the screen. Never.
Okay, Mr. Crigley, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
My name is DeMarcus Crigley, DeMarcus
And you are the objector, correct?
I am the objector. Max Solomon will be the attorney on this one.
Okay, and he's not here today, but is he filing an appearance?
He will be filing an appearance.
Okay, and candidate, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Stafford Owens, STAFFORD
Okay, thank you both. Mr. Crigley, can you please briefly state the nature of your objection?
Yes, failure to identify office sought on the statement of economic interest.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, would you like to file any sort of dispositive motion, a motion to strike and dismiss, or something of that nature?
Yes.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set it for the same briefing schedule that was read into the record earlier. I will go over the briefing schedule. Your motion to strike and dismiss, Mr. Owens, will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. Mr. Crigley, you or your attorney's response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply from you, Mr. Owens, would be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then we'll come back here on December 17th. Technically, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m., but again,
She said in the same time frame, y'all, but basically his objection was really not stupid. It was on an administrative action, y'all, and we're gonna talk about administrative actions and why it's so important. This is a technicality. This was real petty. I don't know this other candidate, but they just going for anything at this point.
email addresses and ways to contact you. So do you have appearances?
Right.
No, I haven't, but I received all my information through email.
Correct, but for the sake of, for a complete record, we require all parties to file appearances. So if you can fill out this document that you're going to receive, fill out 2 copies of it, give one to your opponent, and then you need to give one to the board.
Also, where will we be, the attorney will be sending his appearance to? His
To me,
email address?
to me.
Okay, can I have your email address?
Absolutely. He has it, but I'll give it to you.
Okay.
Just for the record, in case anyone needs it, that's, party to these proceedings. My email address is Jaworski, JAWORSKI @DLGlawgroup.com. And if you can also copy my associate on that, it's my associate to the left here. Her name is Hannah Auten, AUTEN @DLGlawgroup.com. Pardon me one moment.
Right. So we on number 5. We got 4 more. So basically, until they come back, just give you what happened. He only contests to one form. On that form, he did. This gentleman, Stafford Owens, he did not put his office that he was running for. Literally a technicality. Literally ridiculous. But this is how petty. So she sent him because that's the only thing he may could like represent because he may not be as smart as Keith. You know what I'm saying? So Keith Price got the technical things,
Okay, my apologies.
and we're gonna talk about that.
Okay, so we've set a briefing schedule. Now we're gonna go through the exhibits, just like we did for the last one. I'll wait for Madam Clerk to return. Okay, so at this time, I'm going to read off the exhibits, and then when I'm done, I will need a motion to approve. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, any waivers of service that either have been filed or will be filed. Can we have a motion to approve the exhibit list? I make a motion to approve the exhibit list.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Motion carries. Okay, so thank you, parties. We're going to move on to the next case.
Yep. She's still.
Okay, the next case we're calling is William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Nathaniel Fields.
Again? So this is his other one. Oh, this is the number 2. William Vaughn.
Then, Mr. Fields, if you could just state your name for the record.
My name's Nathaniel Fields, Jr.
Thank you. We do have an objection that was filed against your candidacy by the objectors previously stated. Objectors counsel, Mr. Stirk, could you please give a brief summary of the objections?
Give me a moment.
No problem.
Okay, do Nate got a lawyer?
For the record, Kevin Stirk from Ansel Clank, if I could have leave to file my appearance. Our objection boils down to failure to state failure to file a statement of economic interest.
Same thing.
And that, that summarizes it.
My read of the objection, when I read through it, I think it was actually that the wrong statement of economic interest was filed.
Thank you for the correction.
Okay, so basically it's a statement of economic interest issue. I believe there's also something in there stating that because the statement of economic interest was filed wrong, that the statement of candidacy is false and perjurious. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Fields, I'm assuming that you would also like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
I actually like to state for the record that I did file the correct statement of economic interest.
That's not what you're supposed to do.
When they went through my petition.
Not yet.
But I do have copies if you guys would like copies of that.
You supposed to submit.
Okay, well, that'll be part of your motion and part of your evidence that you'll submit at the hearing.
Yeah.
When we come back on the 17th.
Okay.
So if you'd like an opportunity, just like any other case, to file a motion to dispute the allegations that they put out against you. Okay.
Nate, if nobody want to help you, please call me. I can have a consultation with you for free. At least put you in the right direction. God, I love you, Nate. Come on.
All right.
Love
So
you.
we will go ahead and do the same briefing schedule, which will be December 9th, 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due. Response.
So hold on.
Will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m.
So basically, he has his evidence there, and he tried to do his statement of objection there. But this is just a preliminary hearing, just like when you go in and you get a ticket and they be like guilty or not. This is similar to that, and then you come in and you say I want to go to court. So now they have objections to it. He has to file objections. So we're going to break down a time frame. They're all on the same time frame.
Appearances, and we will also need appearances given to us for the record. And then at this time, I'm going to read off the exhibits and ask for a motion to enter the exhibits and the exhibit list into the record. Exhibit A, nomination papers.
Oh, my baby.
Would be the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waivers of service. Can I have a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Can I get a second? Thank you. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Okay, so this matter will likewise be continued to 12/17. We're going to, as stated in the previous hearings, we're going to notice it for 10 a.m. But you are third or fourth on the call, so it'll be a little bit later, but the whole board is going to convene at 10 a.m. Mr. Quigley and Mr. Owens, we still need your appearances. Oh, okay, good, you're working on them? Okay, good. Okay. Thank you very much. Okay, so she's just making sure we got all the documents we need, so. That's actually the waiver of service. Yeah, so.
You know, at the end, I'm going to get to our favorite comments, okay? I'm taking notes.
Yeah, that's what the appearances. Okay, there being nothing further on this case, we will now move on to William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Stafford Owens.
This
Mr. Owens, can you
is
say your
number
name?
6, y'all.
Stafford Owens.
Thank you. Mr. Stern, have the parties exchanged appearances? I know, Mr. Owens, you're working on your appearances, right? Okay. Okay, so just make sure the parties, before you leave, give us copies of the appearances and exchange appearances.
Two.
Mr. Stern, can you briefly summarize the nature of the objections?
There's a, well, we were objecting to, it's like the signatures, just our standard objections of, you know, A3, signature not genuine, signature, signer not registered at the address, signer outside the district, signed the petition more than once, and then of course,
Oh my God.
my favorite column, other. We also have an objection to, they failed to file a statement of economic interest, that he doesn't have enough valid signatures, and he failed to file or receive a statement of economic interest, and that it was filed beyond the deadline.
So the statement of economic interest you're alleging was filed beyond the deadline with the clerk's office?
Yes.
Mr. Owens, just like in the other case, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, so we will go ahead and set this for the same briefing schedule, which will be the motion to dismiss will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. And then this hearing will be continued to December 17th at 10 a.m. At this time, I will go through the exhibits. Exhibit A, the nomination papers.
So she's entering the exhibits again, like she was doing, but we're going to look at more into Stafford Owens and give y'all a breakdown of him. But this one right here, he did a lot. And this was some of the things that I told you guys to pay attention to for Tiffany Henyard for her petition, and she submit ones. And literally the signatures was out, maybe outside of the county. That's what they objecting here. Double signatures, non-voted signatures. These are some of the things that we talked about before when I was talking about how to knock Henyard out of the box when she submit her papers. But it seemed like Henyard team been watching me more than the others. And they just, I'm sorry. It just seemed like they just using the ammunition. And I love Nate. We're gonna talk about Nate. I pray that he get a team behind him. So this is Stafford Owens' second one. Just to give y'all a heads up, so we don't have to double back on what happened with this guy and who.
The case number for Stafford Owens is 25 TOEB 06.
And that's the one they had caught on that technicality. DeMarcus represented that one. That was against him. And it was his officer statement. He didn't state the position he was going for in one of his paperwork. And then they came back and got at the rest of his paperwork, which was his signatures. So y'all
actually running a little ahead of schedule, but if both parties are here,
y'all can know, we could kind of reiterate what just happened.
I do appreciate that.
There you go. This is the guy we're gonna be looking into.
I guess so. Okay, so calling the case of Valeria Stubbs versus Stafford Owens, 25 TOEB, SUP 07. Do we have an objector here? Okay, sir, can you please state and spell your name for the record?
Jamin Avery, J-A-Y-M-A-N, last name Avery, A-V-R-Y, I am here on behalf of Steve Ladizinski, Quebec, also. I do have appearances for me, and then you could ask me and Mr. Ladizinski so that appearances thereafter.
Yes, that would not be a problem.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Mr. Owens, obviously, can you state your name?
Stafford Owens.
Thank you very much. And Mr. Avery, can you please briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Owens?
Yes, in this case, there are several. We do have sheet and line numbers, so we will be requesting record examination. There are also circulator issues. There's an alteration of petition sheets, and there's a lack of statement to the office.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Owens, just as in the other cases, would you like time to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes.
Okay, and we'll set it for the same briefing schedule, if that's okay with the parties. And that will be December 9th, 5 p.m. A motion to strike and dismiss would be due. Any response to that motion would be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. Any reply, December 12th at 5 p.m.
So he's given the same timeline. Stafford Owens has been contested 3 times now. But what stands out to me is that this is not a Henyard goon. Miss Valerie Stubbs is with House 2025, Clean House 2025. So we have to highlight that moves are being made on everybody's side to literally knock people out the box. That's what these hearings are for. This is what these objections for, is to knock the candidates out the box before they get to the poll. So I just wanted to highlight that.
Okay, so at this time, I'm going to ask the board to approve the list of exhibits. I'm going to go through them first. Exhibit A is the nomination papers. Exhibit B is the objector's petition. Exhibit C is the call. Exhibit D is the rules. Exhibit E is the agenda, and Exhibit F is waiver of service. Can I get a motion?
I make a motion to approve the exhibits.
That man need a lawyer too.
Got a motion by Member Wells and a second by Member Gray Everett. All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries.
I would assume Nate feels.
Mr. Owens, just to let you know that this is obviously the last 2 cases you had, and I should have said this in the earlier case. When there is a records examination, what's going to happen? I don't know if you have ever been through this before? Okay, so just for both the edification of you and the edification of the public, we will then send out a notice or request rather to the Cook County Clerk's office and ask the Cook County Clerk to set this matter for a records examination. They will then give us a date and time. There is no flexibility on that. There's no, can we reschedule it and do it another day? It's whatever they give us, that's what we have to go with. And they do include Saturdays as well as Sundays, I believe, for these records examinations. So what will happen is you will then have to go to the records examination. It will still proceed if you are not there. So if any party does not attend a records examination, the records examination still will go forward.
Okay.
The Cook County Clerk's Office employee will be the judge of whether the signature is valid or invalid, whether the objection should be sustained for any of the reasons.
Who is that?
The signature line was objected to. So that could include, you know, that the candidate, or I'm sorry, that the signer is not registered, or any of the other nature of the objections that were filed. It's very important to keep an eye on your email, because these can get set, we can get notification today at 5 p.m. for a records examination tomorrow at 12. That wouldn't happen in this case because we haven't sent the request yet. But I just want you to know it's a very expedited proceeding, and so please keep a close eye on your email. As soon as we find out when the records exam is going to be scheduled, we will email the parties. Any questions on that? Okay, no questions. Thank you.
In my opinion, he's going to be knocked out the box. She needs a lawyer, but at this point, he has too many objections.
Okay, we're going to call the next case. We're running a little ahead of schedule, but we have all parties here, so if nobody objects, we will go ahead and call that case. Got Sheila Ashley versus Nate Fields.
This is Nate number 3, I think. Yeah.
Oh, that's up to you. If you want to bring it up now, that's fine. Thank you. And this is case 25 TOEB Supervisor 08. Can the parties state their name for the record?
Again, Jacob Avery on behalf of the objector, stating for Stephen that Stephen filed the objector's petition. I can spell my name, Jayman, first name, last name, Avery, A-V-R-Y, most smoothly phrased and granted.
Thank you.
I'm going to verify if this person is related to House, because that's what I'm thinking. This contest may be related to the House 2025 Clean House, but I'm going to verify because you see what's going on here. So I'm just being transparent as possible. Let's see if it was House that contested against Nate Fields.
And Mr. Fields?
I'm not blaming House. I can say someone from his camp. Let me clarify that, okay?
Nathaniel Fields Jr.
Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you please briefly state the nature of the objections that you filed against Mr. Fields?
Yes, here there are two major ones. One is there is no statement of economic interest with respect to the office sought that was filed, and there's inconsistent offices sought issue, and then there's also a filing period violation because of the inconsistent.
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Fields, just like in the other cases, would you like an opportunity to file a motion to strike and dismiss? If you could use the microphone too, so that the court reporter could pick everything.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, thank you. So we will go ahead and set the same briefing schedule, which will be a motion to dismiss due on 12/9 at 5 p.m. A response due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. Reply due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And then we will come back here on 12/17, again at 10 a.m. technically, but this case might be called a little further down just because of it's where it comes in the call. But you've got other cases, so you'll be here.
Yeah, you should compile them together at the same time.
So at this time, we're going to go ahead and go through the exhibits again. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, the agenda. And Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits?
I'll make a motion to approve the exhibits.
Got a motion from Member Wells and a second from Member Gray Everett to approve the exhibits. All in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. And then I just asked the parties, they've already attended their appearances, so we're good. Anything else from the parties on this case? Okay, great.
They try to put the weight down on me.
Moving on.
They really try to come down hard on that young man instead of embracing him.
So calling the next case, which is Sheila Ashley versus Sydney Moore, 25 TOEB Soup 09. And objector, can you please state and spell your name for the court reporter?
Okay.
Stephen Avery, first name Jayman, last name Avery, Avery. Murphy Christian law firm. On behalf of the objector and also standing in for Attorney Steve Latsinski, we would also seek leave for Mr. Leonard.
That's no problem.
I do have one for each.
Thank you.
And we want to, yeah.
Thank you. And Mr. Moore, do you have, Mr. Moore, can you just state your name for the record?
Yeah, Cindy Moore.
Thank you. And do you have an appearance to tender to Mr. Avery?
Yeah, we already gave it.
Perfect. And then we will also need one brought up here when you guys are, when you have a moment. Oh, we already have it? Okay, we already have it. Thank you. Mr. Avery, could you briefly summarize the nature of the objections against Mr. Moore?
Yes, we have a couple. There were circulation for two different offices, supervisor and trustee. There was an improper filing of the nomination papers, both for as an independent candidate, Democratic candidate, and therefore there is also an improper circulation of
Okay, thank you. And Mr. Moore, I'm assuming based around, and I forgot to state this earlier, Mr. Avery, Mr. Moore is represented by counsel. His attorney is Frank Avila, who is unfortunately in the hospital right now, so he was not able to be here. Mr. Avila did contact me last night to let me know that he was unable to attend. He did request that a briefing schedule be set. And so we will hear this case along with the other case against Mr. Moore at the end of the call, because Mr. Avila, I believe, has conflicts on the morning of the 17th, so it'll be a little bit more towards the end of the call. And so, you know, just wanted to let you know that, and thank you for the no objection on the record. So at this time then, we are going to go through the exhibits, and the exhibits are the Exhibit A, the nomination papers, Exhibit B, the objector's petition, Exhibit C, the call, Exhibit D, the rules, Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waiver of services, or waivers of service. Can I have a motion to approve the exhibits as stated?
Second.
I've got a motion by member Darlene Gray Everett and a second by member Chris Gonzalez. All in favor? Motion carries. Okay, so that is the supervisor cases.
Well, I got it.
Oh, I'm sorry, there's something else that you wanted to say, Mr. Moore?
Yes, I need copies of the objections, digitally, or paper copies for this case from Sheila Ashley and for the previous case.
They should have been served on you, but I'm sure that the clerk's office can get you copies.
And recaptions. Recaptions. I never received copies. Yeah. Okay, thank you.
Yeah, well, that's fine. You can have copies of that. That's no problem. So for both cases against you, you
Yes.
need them?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
Okay, so if you just sit tight, we're actually done with the supervisor cases, so this electoral board will now do a, hold on. Yeah. I believe we did set the briefing, I think you're right. I don't think we discussed the briefing schedule. Thank you. Been doing this so many times, like repetition. Okay, so the briefing schedule will be the same as all the other cases, and that'll be 12/9 at 5 p.m. for the brief, for the motion to strike and dismiss. The response will be due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And we will come back here on 12/17. Technically, it'll be noticed for 10 a.m., but your cases will be at the end of the call, at the end of the supervisor call.
Yes, that's correct.
Okay, no problem. And so if you just sit tight, we'll get you copies of what you requested.
All right, sounds good.
So at this time, I am going to ask that this electoral board do a motion to recess, and then we're going to seat the other electoral board. Recess.
I'll make a motion that we recess.
We've got a motion to recess from member Wells and a second from member Gonzalez. All in favor? Motion carries. So we're going to take a 10-minute break, and seat the other electoral board for the trustee cases. Just so everybody knows, statutorily, that board is composed of the supervisor, the township clerk, and the longest sitting trustee. So that means Supervisor Tiffany Henyard will be on that board, Clerk Loretta Wells is on that board, and Trustee Darlene Gray Everett is on that board. So we're gonna take about a 10-minute break and we'll be back here shortly. Thank you.
Okay, this is getting very juicy. Okay, let me see where they at with this 10 minutes because we was a little bit behind. So we're gonna keep our eye on it. Okay. So I first want to say shout out to you, Holly, because I didn't notice that person, and he was being funny yesterday, you know, saying those jokes, and he continued. And I was saying in my head, because I give people benefit of the doubt, but I was like, okay, is he going to be a distraction? But cool. I just let him go with the flow and not put him on the screen today. So thank you. I appreciate you, Holly, for paying attention, because psychologically, this is what people try to do. So he's on timeout for right now. While we're on break right here, we're going to keep playing Critical Smokers Live and say shout out to him. God be the glory that he's down there. I know this was going to be a 2-part thing, so I pray to God that it gets through, because I really got to get on the road no later than 2 o'clock, and I didn't even get myself ready. But God's going to be good, because you know Atlanta traffic is disgusting. So I'm trying to beat that Atlanta traffic. But with that goes to say, let's just go over some things real quick, okay? And let's talk about it. Now, y'all saw basically Nate Fells got challenged 3 times. And the 3 times, 2 of them was from Henyard group. We definitely know that. That was KP and Catch a Dog Smith. As well as we had another contest. Let me just make sure that I'm looking at everything right. Hold on. So we had the William Vaughn. We had William Vaughn. So we're trying to see who William Vaughn is, who contested Nate Fields number 2. We're going to go into that to see if he's Henyard, Clean House 2025, or somebody else, okay? But basically, let's just talk about my man Nate, because I got mad love for him, and I think the audience was feeling the same as well, because we're looking at this from a humanistic perspective as well as from the people perspective. So I have said several times that Nate needs a team. You know, I pray that he can get a team, but he definitely needs a lawyer. My advice, if Nate is really serious about this, he's going to have to take a loan and start to get up campaign funds so he can, one, start by contesting all of these legally. As you see, it seems like Nate don't know the administrative process. So as a legal nursing consultant, that's what I deal with, administrative process. And that is the most important process when dealing with courts, hearings. If you make a mistake on administrative process, you literally can lose your case. And I learned a lot about that as well in real estate. You know, when they don't have the documents stated right, something is an issue, they are literally voided. There literally needs to be contested and fixed. So it's a big issue with some of the things that they were contesting on Nate Field. But not really. One of them was failure to state economic interest. So he's saying that he submitted the paper. He has it. And then you see in the other contest, basically they're saying that it was submitted late. So that's something that we have to pay attention to. Was fouled. So they said it was late, and then the other one said that it was not the right paperwork. That's why he came back and was waiting the paper. Like, I did do the right paperwork. So that's what we have to look forward to in the next hearings that's coming up. We're going to go over that timeline, and hopefully we have our cameraman right there. Shout out to, Critical Smoker. But I will tell you, y'all don't sleep on Thicker Than a Snicker, Keith Price. Please don't sleep on that man. That man, he's very intelligent, and he knows how to represent himself in court in cases. You know, honestly, reading some of the court cases and some of the things that he contests was a little bit like to the left, but he had a ground. Like, he will pull something so far that you wouldn't even think. When I was reading the cases that he was involved in, and I said, didn't this do no administrative actions? So if you don't file a paperwork, you see any flaws in the paperwork, that's what he's going to contest. And that's usually what I do. That's how I won a case against the county, because there was flaws in the administrative process and the paperwork. You see what I'm saying? So he as well is contesting Nate Fields, and that is basically because he's saying that Nate was basically going as a Democrat and then winning as an independent. So, and that's weird because that's what Tiffany is going to be trying to do. You see what I'm saying? The pot calling the kettle black. That's stupid. Okay, you're going to bring that up, and Tiffany's going to try to do the same thing. Tiffany is going to try to still submit herself as supervisor. I see comments where people saying, yeah, she's out of there, and they made whole videos saying she can't be supervisor. She's still going to put herself on that ballot, and she can legally. And if people vote for her, y'all may have her in. Y'all have a battle for real, for real. So the same grounds that I think that they're going after Nate Fields is maybe the grounds that people could go after Henyard the bird with. Okay, that's just so weird. Let me check that off while we waiting for this other hearing. So he also they contest. The first contest was Chris Clark. Everybody should have been contesting that man because y'all don't want to bring none of that Harvey over to Dolton. Harvey is a disaster. We're going to do a deep dive into Harvey coming up. Disaster. And he thinks that he's going to come and bring his whole administration over. You guys better hope KP and Catch a Dog Smith thing work and knock him out the box. Just period. Point blank period. Okay? Just point blank period. That's what I have to say about Clark prior to us doing our deep dives and showing you what he's working with. Okay? Because I'm not just talking to talk. So Sidney Moore. Now that was the gentleman who I mentioned prior before that was running today. Probably later on this evening, what I'll do is just release that flashback. God be the glory if I could get out of here on time and edit that video. I'll show you what we found on Sidney Moore and put his video out where he was basically making his statement that he was going to run for supervisor. So these people were very serious. So his objection is pretty similar to what they was objecting with Nate Fields, and that was a little different. One of them was the petition. You know, you're supposed to submit everything at one time, and that's part of the rules. So they said that he submitted multiple different petitions. Maybe he was coming in every other day, like, hey, I got more signatures, and that probably what he was not supposed to do. I'm just alleging, but that's what it sounds like. Also, they talked about circulation issues. When you have an independent party, you have to get out there and do your own thing, and circulate and get your signatures. That's why you saw Nate Fields out there by himself handing his signatures petition out 2 times. So they're saying that that's what they're objecting to Sanders, because it may have been somebody else that circulated some of his petition pages. So they're going to be addressing that. Also, we're going to go, we talked about Owens. We don't know who this guy is, but we know both sides gunning for him. He even had Valerie Stubbs go against him. Like, nah, you got to go. So he has several issues with his that we already addressed. And I'm like, wow. I think out of everybody, he's definitely going to be knocked out, Stafford Owens. So we're kind of touch bases about that. So I still want to figure out who was the third person who challenged Nate, which was Miss Ashley Sheila. So I don't know who camp she's part of, but that was another contest, and that's something that we got to keep our eye on. Who's doing what? And the same thing, the no statement of economic interest that they're contesting with him, because that was on another petition, and inconsistent office filings, and that is the Democratic and the Independent. And allegedly the filing period. Allegedly. So these are some of the things that basically, when it comes to Nate Fields, he needs to have a lawyer go over these documents, timeframes with him. He's going to have to show that, one, he submitted his papers on time as far as the economic interest, and that it was correct, and that it wasn't no inconsistency in the title of office on that paper. This is literally administrative, literally putting the wrong thing on the line. Incompatibility of office will be on one paper he said I'm independent, and next paper he said I'm a Democrat. So that's why I say this is going to be the same argument that people can make against Tiffany if and when she writes in her ballot for for supervisor. But what's deeply alarming to me is that they don't have enough people in this area. Now we're going to see stinking Tiffany. No, let me stop. Okay, I'm going to stop calling her name so I can get her on my show. Let me stop. But I'm serious. We're going to have Tiffany Henyard, who is the chairperson here over the trustees election committee. Okay, so that's who they're leaving. Those was the committee for the supervisor position. So what we're waiting for is the board for the trustees to come in, and she's part of it. Wells part of it. Darlene's part of it. And I didn't hear them say Gonzalez, because Gonzalez is a trustee. So Darlene and Henyard and Wells are friends. So my main thing is the determination of the facts may be made by these people. So that's a little scary to me. In this particular case, this lady who was hosting it, I don't know if that's the chairperson for Thornton Township's supervisor election board committee, but I think she was very fair. I think she was even-sided. I'm telling you, as a clerk in any positions in the government office, I ain't the government. Look at Tiffany coming in looking like Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice! They are not obligated to give you any law or how to file your cases. For instance, when I go in, I had to file cases per se, and I was about to file a wrong paper. The lady looking at me with the side eye, like, and hitting her head to the left, like, I think form 229. And I'm like, okay, subliminal message, because legally they can't really give you information. So it was great that she was able to do that and kind of guide Nate Felds a little bit, because my baby was there ready to get it. It ain't talking about, let's go, it's court today, let's present the case. That's not how court works. You go in for a preliminary hearing. This is just like a criminal case or in a civil case. Not saying this is what it is, but they hold the proceedings similarly. You see what I'm saying? So this is the hearing to put all the facts to thing. Let's set up the date. You know what they are charging you with or trying to contest. Now you have the time to reply. So they gave reply times, and that's what we'll go over, because they should be starting soon. We are going to be looking for, so by December the 9th, they need to put their motion in to response to all of the things that were shown. And that's where Nate is supposed to give all his exhibits in at that time with that filing to say, hey, this is wrong, blah, 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 blah. Then there's supposed to be a response from them based on what example Nate will put in, and that's due by 12/11 at 5 p.m. And if Nate wants to reply to them one more time, he will do so by 12/12/2024, just before the actual hearing will take place again on 12/17/2024. Does that make sense? So if Nate is listening, I just broke it down. Go get your lawyer, young man. Yes, get your lawyer. You see, Ms. Jordan wasn't playing. She had a lawyer on deck from the beginning. You gotta take this serious, because you're dealing with a really corrupt city, state, country. Let's move forward. Let's see where we at. If you like the commentary and the information that I shared with you guys, you're actually learning about the process, empowering yourself, being non-biased, being humane. Like, yo, we want to see the people win. Hit the damn like. Hit the like. Because what Grace is going to do is just put what's out there, the truth. So let's see. One thing I want to verify, who was the third person who contests to Nate? Because I think Nate is really neutral and a great kid. So I'm trying to see who don't like Nate. Definitely. And Sydney. And Sydney, I think Sydney, just to say that, he need a new lawyer. Not to say, his lawyer's bad, don't know his lawyer. But at this point, if his lawyer in the hospital, just leave that man alone. Go get somebody who's healthy, because Tiffany do voodoo, allegedly. Let me stop. You don't want to be having the same thing. Heart attack. You know what I'm saying? Just let that man do his thing. Don't put him involved in this. Go get another lawyer real quick, because you got a lot of things to fix. But that's just my opinion. When people have health issues, I don't think that they should work on high intense cases like this. I had a gentleman who was, I don't know what he was. Hold on. I know he was in a profession, and I was his nurse, and he was there for a cardiac cath because he had basically a heart attack. Okay. And he had included that blood vessels. And this dude would not relax. Every minute he's on his computer, and you know we got to keep him like, yo, you got to relax. Don't worry about this. You got to keep your stress level down. His blood pressure to the damn roof. On the phone every 5 minutes. I'm like, oh my God. I come in the room, his eyebrows is down to his nose. I'm like, what's going on here? The alarm is going off. Your heart rate went to 120. Then now, because I'm being notified, I'm just keeping it real. I'm coming in like, what is wrong? Do I have to give you some more topiral? No, I was just upset because this is a dysrhythmia at this point. You can't hold off to your cardiac calf. You're stressing me out. So that's why I say what I say. Because living that the guy is in the hospital, I'm just not being funny. I think that he should just hold off on this situation because it's very stressful. If it had me up last night crying for Dolton, I is gonna have his ass crying. Maybe not. Maybe not. Let's see what Beetlejuice was going on with them. Shout out to Critical Smoker for being here today. And please hit the like button. If you have anything to say, please put in the comments. Y'all know I'm paying attention to the comments so people could come and troll, try to distract, try to mess up the broadcast. But that ain't happening. Yesterday was funny, little things, you know, but you ain't gonna keep coming back with the same old jokes. You gotta come a little bit better. You know what I'm saying? If you like Beetlejuice Tiffany, go over there and get a phone number. You know what I'm saying? Over there saying that reckless stuff, trying to get us to throw up. Enough is enough. Okay? Yes, you do. Okay. So I still got a few comments that I want to highlight at the end. So that's why I asked you guys to comment, say what you want to say. You know, let's have a little bit of taste. Let's be grown and intellectual and sexy. We can't be the best, but we're going to try it over here. You know, I'm going to put you on the screen. And then at the end, we're going to get to our best comments because you guys got a lot to say. Y'all want to be part of the conversation, just like Grace do. That's why Grace be like, well, whoever recording, I'm jumping on it. Just don't be mad at me. I'm putting myself part of the conversation, and I think that I add a lot of good value to it, especially when it comes to comprehension of these legal proceedings as well. You know what I'm saying? Because I get a little hood with it, make it a little fun. Yeah, I know y'all like it. You know you like it. Hit the like button, please, please. I'm stressed. I'm literally stretching myself, but I think we're gonna pray that traffic is not that bad. Yeah, I hope he gets at least an advisor as well. I think Nate needs to really take a loan and go get a lawyer. That's it. If he's serious about it, he's just gonna have to put your money where your mouth is. That's real. All right, let's see what's happening. Part 2. Are you gonna put Fugly on the screen? She's going after trustees now. They're not her, but people are contesting trustees, and she is the chairman of the election. You see how this is ridiculous? So let me give you an example. These people, when I told you that when she submit her paperwork and people with conflict of interest can't donate to her, like for instance, the committee she's on and the boards, this board would not be able to donate to Tiffany Henyard's campaign. So I just want to throw that out there because I had mentioned about campaigns and things that they can't, and committees that can't sponsor their actual election proceedings. And yeah, so Everett, Darlene, and none of them, keep your money in your damn pocket. You know what I'm saying? Her best friends on her board with her. Look at that picture up there. Don't forget who that is. Be down there. Just gonna put that up there. I hope they get to it.
Something's got a hold on me lately. Oh, I don't know myself lately.
Who's singing? Who over there?
Seems like the walls all closing in, and the devil's knocking at my door. Whoa. Out of my mind, how many times did I tell you I'm no good at being alone? It's taking that toll on me.
It's a love song or a song to God? What we got going on here?
I have to say, as the attorney for the Electoral Board, first
Problematic.
We needed that.
Problem is,
That was our Rihanna
I have to
interview.
say, in all the electoral boards I've ever worked at, I've never had somebody singing, so I appreciate that.
Black people, we always bringing the spice. It's something new. We always just doing what we wanna when we want to. The spirit came on and he started singing.
All right, is everybody ready to resume?
Yes, let's go.
Okay, can I have a motion to reopen the electoral board meeting for Thornton Township?
I motion.
Motion made by Supervisor Henyard. Yes, second. Second by Member Darlene Gray Everett. All in favor? Aye. All right, motion carried. We are back in session at 11:33 a.m. And we will now be going through the trustee cases. The first case we will be calling is case number 25, TOEB, Trustee 01. That is a case of Keith Price and Michael Smith versus Corian Davis. Yes, thank you very much. And objectors, can you please state your names for the record?
Michael Smith.
Keith Price.
Thank you very much. And objectors, if you could please briefly state the nature of your objections against candidate Corian Davis.
In the case of Corian Davis, the first thing that we have is that the party failed to nominate or put in their party a clerk, township assessor, and highway commissioner. The other thing that we have is that it's incompatibility of offices. Ms. Corian Davis filed for school district, school board member, as well as she filed for trustee, which is clearly incompatible.
Okay, so the nature of your objection is a failure to have a full slate and incompatible offices, correct?
Correct.
Thank you very much. And candidates counsel, Mr. Sirk, are you intending to file a motion to strike and dismiss? Okay, thank you. And if the court reporter wasn't able to hear that, the candidates counsel has requested a motion to strike and dismiss briefing schedule, as well as a motion to consolidate this case with Jacinda Goldston and Dominique Randall L., as well as possibly the Chris Clark case for the supervisor, and that's Sup 01 for the purposes of oral argument.
And I'm sorry for not using the microphone. I just was worried that it would be so hot after Mr. Price is singing.
It's not even the same mic.
Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and set the same briefing schedule, just to keep everything nice and uniform. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due on December 9th at 5 p.m. The response will be due on December 11th at 5 p.m. And a reply will be due on December 12th at 5 p.m. For these trustee cases, it would be my suggestion for the board that as it relates to the time that we're going to come back, as the board knows, we have the supervisor cases all at 10 a.m. I'm going to still have this on the agenda as a 10 a.m. call, but more than likely these cases will not be called until around noon. So is that both parties will be here regardless, because both parties have cases both in the supervisor and trustee timeframes. So I'll just keep it at 10 a.m., but the parties can know that this case will probably be called a little bit later. Now, as it relates to the motion to consolidate, it would be my advice to the board to allow for the motion to consolidate, with the exception of the singular issue related to Corian Davis for her alleged incompatible offices. And the reason I suggest that is honestly for the purposes of judicial economy. I don't think the board wants to hear the same argument over and over again, and I believe that the board would probably prefer to hear the argument once and make the decision based on hearing the argument once from each side rather than hearing it 4 separate times. So it would be my suggestion to consolidate the cases for the purposes of oral argument. There would still be separate decisions issued on each case. But for the purposes of oral argument, I would suggest consolidating case number 25 TO 201, 25 TOB Trustee 01, 25 TOB Trustee 02, and 25 TOB Trustee 05. And again, this would be for the purpose of oral argument related to the full slate issue only. Does the board have any thoughts on that?
I'm fine.
Okay, so can I get a motion to approve the consolidation of cases SOUP 01, Trustee 01, Trustee 02, and Trustee 05 for the purposes of oral argument related to the full slate issue? Oh, and 03 too, I'm sorry, thank you.
I make a motion that we consolidate cases 25, SOUP 01, Trustee 01, Trustee 02, Trustee 03, Trustee 05.
And just for clarification, that's for the purposes of oral argument related to the full slate issue, correct?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you very much. We do have a motion by Member Wells and a second by Chair Henyard. All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. So those cases will be consolidated for the purposes of oral argument as it relates to the full slate issue. One question I do have for the parties. Do the parties want to argue that under the supervisor case, meaning do you want to argue that first at 10 a.m. on the 17th?
I will defer to the board on what you think would be what's
Do
easiest.
you guys have any preference? Correct.
Yeah, if we could do it together, that'd be great.
Yeah, so my thought is that you guys would argue that issue at 10 a.m. And then, later on, because you guys are going to be here most of the day anyways, later on, you guys can then argue the Korean Davis issue when we get to her case in the call. But you guys can argue the full slate issue under the supervisor's case. Okay, all right, perfect. Is that agreeable to the board?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. All right, so at this time, we're going to go ahead and mark exhibits like we did in the other cases, but before I do that, I forgot, did the parties exchange appearances yet?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. And appearances have been filed with the board? Okay, wonderful. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and go through the exhibit list again. The first exhibit. Avila, and as stated earlier, he did reach out to us to inform us that he is in fact in the hospital right now. His son did come here to observe and make sure that the briefing schedule was set. Ms. Melvin was not able to be here today, but her attorney was intending to come, if not for the issue as it relates to him being in the hospital. So it would be my suggestion, he has requested a briefing schedule. So it would be my suggestion for the board to allow for the briefing schedule unless the parties have any objection to that.
I personally would like to object. She should have been here, and as we know, the representation was here but cannot represent her as an attorney, I would like to move to remove her from the April 1st ballot.
Thank you. I spoke with Mr. Avila, and I'd be willing to step up on his behalf and file our appearance if I could have leave to, or Mr. Avila could have leave to file his appearance at a later date.
My recommendation to the board would be, in the interest of fairness, sometimes things come up with these cases, they do move very quickly. And I would recommend the board to allow for the briefing schedule and allow for the limited appearance of Mr. Stirk for the purposes of representing Ms. Melvin today, to allow for the setting of the briefing schedule and to allow for the entering of the appearance of Mr. Avila. Does the board have any objection?
I object.
Ms. Gray Everett, do you have any?
That's Tiffany. She following Tiffany. She want to go with Keith Price and knock out the box right now, whoever this candidate is. That's what's going on.
Well, Ms. Stark has offered to file an appearance, and candidates, so he will file an appearance on behalf of the candidate. And Mr. Avila can then substitute in later. So I don't think that, it really is my recommendation that the appearance be allowed to be filed and the briefing schedule be set.
Tiffany is starting some nonsense. The lady giving her good advice. Here she go with the mess. Here she go. Thank you, clerk, for right now.
Yes, yeah, so he should, yes, so if Mr. Stark is filing an appearance, then she is considered here. The question was more so to allow for the setting of the briefing schedule without Mr. Avila here, but if Mr. Stark is willing to file his appearance on behalf of Ms. Melvin, that appearance should be allowed to be entered.
What are the rules?
The rules are that the parties can either appear via themselves or via an attorney, and Mr. Stark is here to appear for her because her attorney cannot be here.
From where I just heard it before we got into all of this, you guys said that the person had to be here, meaning the candidate and or their lawyer. Neither one is here, and that's why I said I object.
But Mr. Stark has now represented that he will appear on behalf of her as her lawyer for the purposes of today's proceedings.
All right, anybody else can change theirs, but I'll still object.
And he's the lawyer. He could be on the behalf of a lawyer.
Okay, so we have two members. So just to be clear, Member Gray Everett, you're okay with Mr. Stark appearing on behalf of Ms. Melvin?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
Now she changed her mind.
Okay, so Mr. Stark, if you can either,
I'm done.
if you're going to continue on with the representation of Ms. Melvin, the briefing schedule will be as stated previously, or if Mr. Avila is going to enter an appearance, if he can send us a copy of that appearance, that would be appreciated. The motion to dismiss will be due on 12/9 at 5 p.m. The response will be due on 12/11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due on 12/12 at 5 p.m. And we will again be back here on 12/17 at 10 a.m.
So you are appearing as the attorney, you're going to make the arguments for the case? So should I tender my appearance?
You should tender your appearance
Yes, you can give me
today.
your appearance.
But Mr. Avila may substitute in or file an additional appearance. A candidate or an objector is honestly allowed to have as many attorneys represent them as they want.
Yep.
So as of right now, we do have an appearance from Mr. Stark that's going to be pending, that's going to be given to us. And I'm assuming that Mr. Avila at some point will file his own appearance and be here arguing it, or maybe they make an agreement and Mr. Stark ends up arguing the case. But that's going to be between the candidate and her counsel.
Yep. Because Tiffany involved. Miss Messy.
Okay. The next case up, I'm sorry, I got to do the exhibits. I apologize. The exhibits are Exhibit A, the nomination papers, Exhibit B, the objector's petition, Exhibit C, the call, Exhibit D, the rules. Exhibit E, hello? Sorry, the microphone went off for a second. Exhibit E, the agenda, and Exhibit F, the waiver of service. Can I have a motion to accept those exhibits into the record? Motion made by Chair Henyard, and a second is made by Member Darlene Cray Everett. All in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
Tiffany lost again.
Do we talk about the case now?
Oh, I apologize. We kind of just jumped into it because of the whole appearance issue. Yes, if you could, please, objectors, can you give us a quick summary of what the nature of the objections are against Ms. Felisa Melvin?
Ms. Melvin violated the election code by submitting multiple sets of nominating petition papers for the same office. One set was submitted as a Democratic candidate for the February 25th, 2025 primary, and the other was for an independent candidate for the consolidated election to be held on April the 1st. The next thing is Ms. Melvin submitted nomination petitions as the Democratic candidate for a primary to be held on February the 25th, 2025, in which she was the circulator of 116 pages. She also submitted nomination petitions, 101 pages, as an independent candidate for the consolidated general election to be held April the 1st, 2025. She also circulated all 101 pages. This is a clear violation of 10 ILCS 5/10-4 and renders the petitions invalid. Secondly, I wanted to note in the objection, the clerk sent a letter letting the candidate know that she would not put their names on the ballot for either elections. That is marked as an exhibit, and we wanted to put that on for the record.
Okay, thank you very much for summarizing that. And,
Yes, can he specify when you said either election, so the public will understand what you're saying?
So the candidate submitted for primary election for February the 25th. The clerk acknowledged and accepted their petitions and then sent out a letter from her office stating that she would not put their names on the ballot for either the April 1st election as well as the February. She would not certify their names for the ballot. And she never withdrew her petitions.
okay, thank you very much. Okay, so as stated earlier, we have set a briefing schedule in this matter, so the parties will go ahead and brief that. And then we will be back here on 12/17 at, again, we're gonna notice it for 10 a.m., but this case will probably be called later on because it's lower down on the list. Thank you.
If she has two lawyers, she needs.
Case number 02, correct?
04,
04?
yeah, 25 TOEB 04.
She may be knocked out. Basically, she handed in too many petitions. She basically tried to cover all corners depending on what will happen. And I think because they wasn't transparent of what they were going to do.
And just for the record, as it relates to case numbers TOEB 02, 03, and 05, we are going to technically skip calling those because all the parties are here, they're all represented by counsel. We've got the motion to consolidate as it relates to those issues. So we're gonna move on.
All right. So that's basically what
Now the next case is William Long and Jaylene Harris versus Felisa Melvin, 25 TOEB, trustee 06. And again, this is a situation where Mr. Avila is the attorney for Ms. Melvin. He is currently in the hospital. He has contacted us, and it is my understanding that Objectors Council has no objection to Mr. Avila's request for a briefing schedule. Is that correct?
And that's correct. And for the record, Kevin Sturk, STERK of Ansel Link. If I got to file my appearance on behalf of the objectors.
Thank you. And, you know, I do acknowledge that obviously in the case prior, you were essentially representing Ms. Melvin as it relates to getting the briefing schedule and ensuring that the objection was not dismissed. And in this case, you are actually representing the objector, correct?
Yes, that's in my own individual capacity, not the law firm.
they need more lawyers.
And just to clarify, these are two separate cases,
See?
two separate sets of objections, and two separate sets of parties. So, Mr. Stark, could you please state the nature of the objection?
We're objecting to the that there's an issue with the signatures on her nomination papers.
What else?
And she lacks the minimum number of validly collected signatures, which I believe after a records check will establish that.
Okay, so at this time, we will need to set this matter for a records examination. So, Mr. Stark, you are very aware of the process, which we will contact the county clerk's office. We will request a records examination. Once we determine when the records examination is going to be, we will send notice to the parties, and the parties will need to attend. There are no continuances on this. They will need to have however many representatives the clerk's office allows them to have. And then we will come back here sometime after that and review the results of the records examination. In the meantime, I do know that Mr. Avila has requested a briefing schedule to which you have stated on the record that you have no objection. Can you just restate that?
Yes, we have no objection to the setting briefing schedule.
Okay, you have no objection to Mr. Avila not being able to be here today in person, correct?
That's correct. I have no objection.
Okay, thank you. If it would please the board, I would recommend the same briefing schedule, which is a motion to dismiss being filed on December 9th at 5 p.m. A response on December 11th at 5 p.m. and a reply on December 12th at 5 p.m.
So they're on the same time frame as what we saw earlier for submission, for reply. What's added on to their time frame is basically they gotta have to do a record of review. That's something that I didn't mention prior. That's happened with that other gentleman that's running for supervisor. What did I say? The one that I think is gonna be knocked out the box. He's definitely, I really do. If that is Owens. I mean, we said we're going to figure out a little bit more about him. He has the same record examination coming up. And I will highlight that.
For the purpose of essentially a professional courtesy to another election attorney.
Yeah,
Who will not be here.
she's still contesting it. Hold on. Oh my God.
It's two separate cases. That would be an issue that would be an issue for the candidate if she wanted to.
So, why would he be allowed to step in to defend her on one end and then another end try to remove her from that?
And that's a good question with I mean, it's a conflict of interest, and I can see where you're asking about that. So I'm just filing a limited appearance on behalf of Ms. Melvin, the 04 case. That's simply to allow Mr. Avila, who's a colleague, very well-respected colleague, who's dealing with a personal issue, an opportunity that there's no default entered against his client, and he would have to come in and file a motion to vacate the default, I believe. So just for the sake of judicial economy, one of our favorite phrases, to keep the cases moving, because I know it's an expedited manner, and having to avoid just that extra step, that's why I'm stepping up for him. Wow. I'm also doing it individually so that I understand my firm is representing a series of other parties that are appearing before the Electoral Board, so I'm not jeopardizing my firm's ability to potentially be conflicted out from our side.
But just for the record, I'm against what just happened. I don't think you should be on one end representing her, and on the other end trying to talk about how we believe that's a confidential. So I don't want to vote.
Okay.
Wow.
Okay, and if I can just explain further, I feel that the limited representation of Mr. Sturk, of Ms. Melvin in the prior case, in the 04 case, was again simply to provide professional courtesy to a colleague who is dealing with personal matter, being in the hospital, and did reach out to me last night asking if this board could enter a briefing schedule, but that was opposed because she was not here. So it was more of a professional courtesy, and it is my recommendation that the board accept the briefing schedule that was stated, allow this case to move on, and otherwise we're going to be coming back on various motions to vacate to vaults, or Mr. Avila may take that up to the circuit court, and then we're going to be back there and then probably get remanded back here. So for the sake of moving things along on this very expedited manner, it is my recommendation that the board accept this briefing schedule.
Thank God she's a chairman. Thank God.
Yes, Mr. Avila reached out, or Mr. Sturk, I believe, reached out to Mr. Avila after what happened in the first case, that Mr. Avila's son tried to basically step up for him just to say, my dad's in the hospital and he's wanting a briefing schedule. And so Mr. Stirk, my understanding, Mr. Stirk, if you could verify this, he either reached out to Mr. Avila or Mr. Avila reached out to him, and as a professional courtesy, he has agreed to step up. And again, this is purely a professional courtesy so that we can move these cases along.
That's correct. I reached out to Mr. Avila, and I initiated the contact to let him know what was going on.
All right, so it is my recommendation that, I mean, these are two separate cases. If you want, we can go back and recall the 04 case, or we can set the briefing schedule for this one.
I'm okay, so we can move forward.
Tiffany mad. She can't yell at that white lady like that.
Okay, so we'll go ahead and set the briefing schedule then. The briefing schedule will be the same as stated in the other cases. At this time, we will go ahead and enter the exhibits into the record. Exhibit A is the nomination papers.
So let me just brief you guys on what happened. There's a conflict of interest. They need to have more lawyers than this,
Exhibit D,
basically. So this guy that came in replacement for the lawyer that's in the hospital literally is on another case that is going against this party. But because they friends or what son or whatever, he's in just standing for him today. Like in the YSL case with Caleb Bumpus, who stood in for YSL lawyer and got caught up in all that stuff. This is what he's doing. And Tiffany's trying to contest it. And that's why she's mad, because she's saying it's a conflict of interest. But that's with Delgado too.
we need a second for the exhibits.
That's with the other gentleman.
Thank you. We have a motion by Member Wells and a second by Member Darlene Gray Everett to accept the exhibits into the record. All in favor? Any opposed? Motion carries.
Solomon, is that his name? That lawyer? Like why?
Do you oppose the exhibits, Madam Chair? Okay.
You have the nerve to argue conflict of interest. Have the nerve.
Okay, calling the next case.
You're welcome.
Sheila Ashley versus Corian Davis. Thank you. And candidate?
On behalf of the candidate, Kevin Stirk, STERK, advance the link, if I could have the from my parents.
Yes, you may. And Mr. Avery, I'm assuming you're also seeking to file your appearance? Okay, and the parties will exchange appearances as well as file them with the board. Okay, Mr. Avery, if you could briefly summarize the nature of the objections that you have against Ms. Felisa Melvin.
Oh my God.
I'm sorry, not Felisa Melvin.
Oh.
Corian Davis.
Okay. I would say wow.
Okay, thank you.
Talking to the mic.
And Mr. Stirk, are you seeking to file a motion to strike and dismiss?
Yes, we are.
Okay, we will go ahead and set the same briefing schedule. That will be 12:09, 5 p.m. for a motion to strike and dismiss, 12:11 and 5 p.m. for a response, 12:12, 5 p.m. for a reply. And then this matter will be set for hearing on 12/17. Again, it'll be noticed at 10 a.m. However, the hearing might not be called until later on in the day, just depending on how the other hearings go. Do the parties have any questions on that?
No.
Okay, thank you. And at this time, I will ask for a motion to accept the exhibits. I will read the exhibits into the record. So Exhibit A, nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition. Exhibit C, the call. Exhibit D, the rules.
They just
Exhibit E.
put in the exhibits. I like your comments. I don't. If that's the other lawyer before, I don't know, but I'll try to verify. That's why Tiffany can't speak over her.
Member Wells and a second by Chair Henyard. All in favor?
That's why Henyard can't speak over her. That's why she quiet. Possibly.
And then the last case
Thank you.
is case number 25, TOEB, Trustee 08, and that is Sheila Ashley versus Felisa Melvin. Objector, can you please state your name for the record? Thank you. And then as it relates to Ms. Melvin, as I had stated previously, Mr. Avila is in the hospital. He did reach out to me last night, requested that a briefing schedule be set. He does intend to file a motion to strike and dismiss. This would typically be a professional courtesy that we would extend to him. And I wanted to know from Mr. Avery, do you have any objection to setting a briefing schedule for Mr. Avila to file a motion to strike and dismiss, even though he is not able to be here physically today? Okay, thank you. Can you take that into the microphone?
Talking to Mike.
No objection.
Thank you very much. Okay, so at this time, we'll do the same briefing schedule, which is 12:09 at 5 p.m. The motion to strike and dismiss will be due. The response will be due at 12:11 at 5 p.m. The reply will be due at 12:12 at 5 p.m. And this matter will again be set for hearing on 12/17 at 10 a.m. Again, it'll probably be heard a little bit later on in the day because the supervisor cases will go first and then the trustee cases after that. Do the parties have any questions? Or does the party? Okay.
No.
Thank you. All right, at this time, I'm going to read the exhibits into the record and then I'll ask for a motion to approve the exhibits. Exhibit A, the nomination papers. Exhibit B, the objector's petition.
And I agree with you guys. Henyard ain't got no power in this right here. That white lady lawyer, chairman, is like, listen, we about to do this. We're not going to have no mess. We're going to run these proceedings well and get it done.
Motion carries. So at this time, there is no further business before this electoral board. I commend everybody for getting us through this pretty quickly. It's a very heavy call. So at this time, I will ask for a motion to recess this matter to 12/17, December 17th at 10 a.m. So, oh, I'm sorry. Madam Clerk is correct. We do have a public comment agenda item. We do have to call for public comment. Do we have any members of the public that would like to make any public comment before we close the meeting?
Uh-oh.
Okay, there being no members of the public stepping up to the podium for public comment, I will ask for a motion to recess this matter until December 17th at 10 a.m. Second. All in favor? Thank you.
All right, that is great. They got through a very heavy hearing. Please hit the like button and definitely like and subscribe to our page as well as Critical Smoker, because he was there for literally 2 hours recording this great sound as well as great visuals. So shout out to him. This is where these clips are coming from. I want to say a shout out to the audience as well for your input, as well as I'm going to say we're going to get the top comments, and just the last top comment, I want to say thank you so much to Isaac, because that's what I'm here to do. You know, just analyze it from my knowledge base, as well as from, try to be from a God perspective. I'm not God, but I do compare what I do if he gonna like it or not. That's how I live my life. So that's where a lot of my commentary comes from, and legally, you see what I'm saying, and paying attention to details. And I'm grateful that you guys pay attention to the details, especially to who is she? Holly. Thank you again for stopping our troll of the day. He is blocked, just not blocked, but he's on timeout, and we hope that he come back and act like an adult. So shout out to Holly. So now we're going to get to some of our comments, top comments for tonight, and this morning, and we're going to wrap up I thank you guys for being with us. And Javar, oh, hey Grace, did you check out Martin G? So this is what we're going to be getting back to, this Martin G interview with Michael Smith and KP in the future, and we're going to cross analyze some of the things that we have heard. You know what I'm saying? So we can get a better understanding on where people stand and what they really trying to say, because they usually talk from two sides of their mouth, and we just gonna catch it here. Thank you, Walter. You have been amazing in the audience, giving great insight. Being an adult, I love it. Thank you. And this was a comment that you made about Phils. Again, let's put Phils on the screen because that's what started our live. Well, actually, our live started with Cassandra. So if you start at the beginning, we went into her hearing that took place yesterday at 2:00. Talked about how Henyard is the pot calling the kettle black. And then we wanted to highlight our man, our young possible supervisor Thornton, if he can get through these contests. We do recommend, as the audience do as well, that he do get some help. He needs some guidance. If you guys really want to get a candidate, in my opinion, that is, to me, he seems wholehearted, has a plan, and if you agree with that plan, I think you guys should come together. Other than that, Nate, listen to what I told you. You got a timeline, get all your evidence together. If you need me to point you in the right directions to the laws you need, I can just send it to you, because that's what I do. I consultate real estate specialists. I call y'all specialists, foreclosures, deeds, and literally I show you the paperwork you need to close the deal, find the issue, represent yourself in court. So this is what I do on the real estate side. And on the nursing side, I'm a legal nursing consultant, where I just look at the cases and find the issues and documentations and according to evidence-based practice, and I just present it, give it to the lawyer, and he just do the daggone thing. So that's where you're getting some of this insight from. So I use those same tools to just apply that knowledge across the board. So that's what I hope you can do with some of the skills that you pick up here. Even if you go into a criminal case, you're gonna know where to look it up and everything. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, Holly, let's move forward. It says, I wish Napoleon didn't do that, because now Tiffany can run with her narrative that she would have been supervisor. If they let her voters in, they would have brought it to the polls. So, as we clarify, she still is going to run on the write-in ballot. And I think from what I hear and read that may be illegal, because you can't go from Democratic to independent. So we will keep our eyes on that. If y'all want to contest something, I think that's something y'all may can contest. So that's just a clarification on that. But she is running on that narrative, which is pretty stupid, because we're seeing that the same thing that they allegedly did to her at the caucus, she is doing to Cassandra. Okay. That's running for mayor in Dolton. So Holly fundraisers beforehand and would let her people in are going to feel bad for her. Now, yeah, exactly. I mean, otherwise, this is not for her too, as the residents. I think I'm feeling more bad for the residents and them not having a voice. But there are people that's taking it like, oh, I told you them puppy dog eyes. Let me show you the picture where Tiffany be tricking y'all. Okay? You see the eyes and the makeup? And she don't have freckles like that. That is makeup magic. So that's what she had on the other day when she did that live, and she had y'all falling for it. But this is the real Tiffany. I just gotta remind everybody, don't be afraid. Let me find my sister. I move so fast. There you go. Lick your lips, girl. I'm licking mine too. It's still early, and I gotta get out of here. Let me get to the last few favorite comments, and we're about to get out of here. Let's see if Nate feels talking.
I don't think I have anything to worry about.
Well, everybody in the chat's rooting for you.
That's what's up. I'm happy to hear that.
We got 1,200 people watching from around the world.
Cool. What's up, everybody? Yeah, I don't have much of a team. I'm kind of doing a lot of this myself, so everybody else has played their cards. They revealed their cards already. So hopefully that gives me an opportunity to choose my ace of spades.
Okay. Well, if you get elected, you need a media guy.
Okay. All right. I keep that in mind, man. Just stick around, Like I said.
I'll be here for years.
I'll be here. You told me your age. I don't want to say it on camera, but
All right, if they ain't talking nothing political, y'all can say the mess for something else. Y'all can finish watch Critical Smoke Alive. And let's see, I want to see him talk about something good.
Do y'all have any questions for Nate?
Let's see.
They just say you probably should get an attorney.
Yeah.
Yeah, a couple people told me that. I don't know. I think we're very limited on the number of attorneys we have in the area.
See, somebody right.
Representing everybody. So I think
They
if
say,
I could, I'd like to show people that you can represent yourself.
they say, what help do you need from the people on the ground?
Just enlightenment. I think that's really important to communicate to each other. Let somebody say something about my age.
No, somebody asked if he was single.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What's going on? They said get something called Legal Shield.
That ain't gonna help.
I think I've heard of Legal Shield.
They want to know what's your email address.
Nate Fields for supervisor.
All right, I think
They say, do you have a place where they can donate?
Yeah, I do have a website. See,
Mhm.
my website is Nate Fields.
All right, I'm gonna have to wrap this up, y'all, because I gotta get on the road in about an hour. So let me just get to the last few comments that I really appreciated. I'm gonna share his information at the bottom and the other candidates' information too. I've shared this in previous video, and I want to say Walter White, shout out to you. Don't worry, I'm gonna keep you informed, and it's gonna be in chronological order. You're gonna see. Look at that, my alarm light, girl. Get yourself together. You're going to see this picture unravel in front of you, and you're going to get a good understanding who everybody is from a non-biased perspective. And I'm going to just give you as much legal analysis as I can. I'm not a lawyer, but I am a legal nursing consultant, and I have been trained in researching and understanding the foundations of cases and what could be what. You know, so I use that as a tool to help you guys. And I appreciate you too, Isaac. And I'm grateful because I'm pushing through a tide. Again, I'm going to end off by saying I pray for Dolton. I pray for Thornton. Listen to my commentary closely. You know, I talk about God a lot. And I really hope you guys pray for them. You know, put them in your prayers. I'm going to end off the live with putting a few more of y'all comments up there. Wow. I end off with a word from our girl. Let's go.
Hide the money, y'all. There's poor people around. With your broke ass.
Every election. So now, because they can't beat me, they got to do this smear campaign to convince public opinion that I'm bad for them.
So you said 2 elections. You were first elected in 2021?
No, 2013 was my first election for trustee. I was a trustee. I sat where they are.
Right.
That's why I know the law.
Council.
Yes.
Elected mayor 2021.
Yes.
Terms 4 years?
Yes.
Okay. Plans of running for re-election?
I'm running for both my seats. And I'm going to win them.
So, and when is the election for Thornton Township?
2025.
So those elections at the same time?
They are.
Bullshit. 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 Bullshit.
Would you like to learn a brand new and innovative way to invest your extra money that has a low barrier to entry and low competition? What if I told you that it is a guaranteed method to get up to 18 to 20% return on your investment? Tax lien and deed purchasing is the only way to get into the real estate market through the back door. No credit and no loans needed. This method isn't commonly taught, and therefore the competition is very low, for now. Put together a 14-hour info-packed course which will teach you everything you'll need to know to get started. Learn at your own pace, step-by-step guided video and aids to start you on the TLC deed investment process. The course offers many learning tools for new investors, helping ensure you safely invest in tax liens and deeds. Contact us today and join the buyback team.